football's on and I've had enough. Shut up, the football's on and I wanna get drunk.
And we are. What a band Tapedeck 45 are, by the way.
Oh.
First of all, cheers. Cheers to our new venture.
Absolutely.
Simon, thank you for helping us.
Thank you, Simon. Legend.
Captain's Cabin, rum.
Delightful.
Bit of vanilla in it. Other rums are available, but you don't need them because you've had this one, so why would you have another one? Anyway, welcome to the pilot episode of the Perfect Balance podcast.
First of many.
We're here. We're doing it.
I know.
How long have we been talking about this?
Well over a year now.
Probably well over a year. And I've got the buzz to do it again. We're actually doing it now.
Yeah,
We're doing it.
That's it. We've just decided now, Dan. It's the time, isn't it? This is the day.
What a perfect opportunity that Simon Captain's Cabin have given us as well. We're in here, as you can see, sitting apart, distance, all that good jazz. We've had where's my thing? We've got an official Captain's Cabin mask that we've been wearing when we've been cutting about the place, staying safe. So when we are allowed to, make sure you come down and put some money in it, because they're looking after us.
And when is it now? The 24th of April, isn't it?
26th of April.
26th of April. We'll be able to sit out in that lovely garden there.
Not long ago. Nearly
smashing.
We're doing well. So, as we've kind of said on our socials and stuff, we thought, we listen to a lot of football podcasts. I listen to some wrestling podcasts because, I've not actually grown up yet.
No.
But I enjoy it. It's my wee thing.
No. Yeah.
And we thought, all we hear is Premier League this, Premier League that. The French League's a farmers' league. La Liga's not what it used to be. Blah, blah, blah.
Aye.
They're all amazing. Let's talk about proper football.
Scottish football.
That's it.
That's what everyone wants to hear. That's why we're here.
Exactly. And we've qualified for the Euros, so I thought, perfect opportunity to actually do our first podcast, and we'll do it on a Euro 2020 scope.
Yes.
But what do you want to talk about first?
The matters first. What we need to take care of is the bread and butter, and that's the latest announcement of our World Cup qualifiers squad. Now, we have actually wrote down the squad, but for you back home, you'll be able to see this. We'll edit in. Alright.
Spicy.
So we're going to start with the goalkeepers first, aren't we? Who's made the squad, Dan?
Mr. Clark has picked
Davy Barsh.
He has, and he's gone with Craig Gordon and John McLaughlin as his backups.
Right. So, need I say more?
It's quite straightforward, isn't it?
It really is, It's Craig Gordon, is it?
Marshall's the boy that got upstairs. Exactly. Celtic legend, Craig Gordon.
Aye.
Invincible Craig Gordon. Yous have no done it yet, right? We're recording this and you got a draw today. You were lucky, John, I'm looking at you. But you're no invincible yet. Just pipe down a wee bit. Whoa. Anyway, that's for another day. But yeah, Gordon's been playing all year for Hearts, cruising in the Championship, a league that you know quite well.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
We're struggling down there. Fourth will do us, though.
We're in the fourth all season. We're in the big league, Simon, so I don't know how Craig Gordon's been getting on this year.
Is that like a netball team?
And
might as well be.
And McLaughlin third choice makes sense as well, because really, who else is?
When he started for Rangers, though, earlier on.
Yeah, he played like McGregor was injured at the start of the season.
He was class, and that's when they had the clean sheet, consecutive clean sheets right at the start. Great backup,
and there was a time
especially as a third choice.
There was a time he was keeping Al McGregor out the squad.
Yeah,
at Rangers.
Yeah. Obviously McGregor's took it to a new level, though, isn't he?
He is retired, officially from Scottish.
He has. Unfortunately.
More on that later.
Yeah. Anyway, we need to move on, right? Defenders.
Right. So defenders, he's got Andy Considine, Declan Gallagher, Grant Hanley, Jack Hendry, Dundee legend, Scott McKenna, Stephen O'Donnell, Liam Palmer, Andy Robertson, Greg Taylor, and Kieran Tierney. Well, the obvious ones there that are a bit maybe strange initially is Jack Hendry's the one that stands out. So from what I keep hearing, he's had a very good season in Belgium.
Great reviews there, isn't he?
Yeah. And there's actually talk of him maybe getting back into the Celtic squad next season, because that defence is a shambles.
I've been looking at things with Jack Hendry as well on a few forums, and I believe that it's Oostende he's at, isn't it? Yeah.
Didn't know you read French.
Oh yes.
See the lengths people go to for the content. He learns French to read Belgian football websites for this. For you.
Oui. So, I've heard many, a lot of reviews about him just now. with Celtic, he's got a Roostend and Celtic, they've got an agreement, I think, of $2.5 million.
They have an option to buy for
$2.5 million. Whereas in the latest gossip column a couple of days ago, seen he's getting linked with teams in England that are willing to pay $10 million apparently.
Oh, it was Aston Villa, wasn't it?
That's right.
It was in the BBC gossip column, so you know it's true.
10 million for Jack Hendry. Imagine the percentage cut for Dundee.
Have you got it?
I'm pretty sure we do, but probably like very marginal. But I believe like it's only after like a certain amount. So say like it was like a minimum transfer fee, it's like 5 million.
Okay.
You might get.
So if they got 5, so or if they got 10, you'd get the same.
We're going to get done from it, are we really? So.
He's just that good.
He's too good.
But
you know what? Yeah.
One thing Scotland don't have a lot of is centre halves.
Well,
so this is obviously an opportunity for Clark to have a look at him.
Absolutely.
And if he plays well, then
you know what? He showed glimpses at Dundee. Definitely. He's really good on the ball. I think. Good ball playing.
Scottish John Stones, isn't he?
But exactly. He looks like him. Same stature, and he likes to play.
Yeah.
I see no reason why not.
And he hasn't actually played well until this season, just like John Stones.
Maybe he's just, it was that pressure of going into Celtic at that time,
far too
as
early.
well.
It was a far too early move.
Yeah, and I think give him more time, and obviously he's went there, and he's had a great season.
In hindsight,
why not? Why not give him a call up?
That should
if you're giving Grant Hanley another call up, then why not give Jack Hendry?
In hindsight with Hendry, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. That move to Celtic was far too early for him. He'd only been at Dundee for half a season. It was half a season.
It was, 6 months or so, yeah.
And where did you guys get him from?
We got him from Wigan. Because he left on a free.
Was he pay compensation from him? Was it?
No.
Nothing?
No, nothing, I believe. Yeah, it was just a free transfer.
So he comes up to Dundee, he has one good half season in the SPL, and Rodgers, I think it was Rodgers that signed him at the time.
Yeah.
So he obviously saw something good in him. And there is clearly a good player there.
There is.
But it was far too much pressure on him coming into that team at that time.
Yeah.
When he's like competing for the jersey with Boyata, Siminovic, Kolo Toure, like guys like that. It was far too early for him. What would have been better, really, in hindsight, was if he'd went back on loan to Dundee for like at least another year and a half, probably.
Yeah,
to actually get games in the top level.
Because I don't think he was
playing.
playing.
Who knows, if that happened, he might have been a regular on the Scotland team now, and this wouldn't have been a debate.
I don't think he was playing too many games at Wigan either. Hence, obviously, he terminated his contract there, or they terminated the contract with him. So
he didn't play a lot for us.
I think he was maybe just one back up the road as well.
Yeah.
I think he was one back up the road, and obviously he got his chance at Dundee, half a season. Obviously, he must have something of Brendan Rodgers. It's, identified him as, he could find my way of playing.
He's a beautiful human being.
Exactly.
Great character.
So, I think definitely, why not give him a call up to the squad?
And to see how he does in these games.
And as you've said, we're not blessed with the defenders in our squad, so absolutely get him in.
Good luck to him.
Absolutely.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
So next we've got Scott Mckenna. Now we were talking about this before we started recording. Is Scott Mckenna a good player? Yeah, we know he's a good player because he was like one of the main reasons Aberdeen were doing so well for so many years.
He is a solid defender.
A lot of people thought by the time he eventually got called up for Scotland, why hasn't he been called up before? Now he's obviously made the move down to Forest, but Forest have had a shocking season. They're normally like challenging for a playoff place, or not long ago they were always in the playoffs. And it was whether they were going to get promoted, to whether they were going to get in the playoffs or not. But now they're like, I think they're like not far off relegation actually.
Yeah, they're definitely in the bottom half
of the championship.
Definitely.
So what's going on?
It's a big club there as well.
So you think, massive club. It was a good move for them. So is that not a bit worrying that Forest are doing really poor and we're calling up one of their centre halves?
But I know I'm swaying off topic with Mckenna, but Forest have had ongoing issues for a while now, haven't they? Because they've always been that kind of, we know they're a sleeping giant really, but they're one of these clubs that they don't know if they're coming or going almost,
Changing managers.
Changing managers every season. They've not got a settled squad, always bringing in new players. They make some good signings there though. They got Glenn Murray in as well on loan, and he knows where the goal is. And to be honest, I was quite shocked when he left Brighton because they're struggling for goals, and he's the kind of man you want in the box, be there to finish, But anyway, going back to McKenna, That's the thing, you know. We don't watch the Championship week in, week out, so we don't know exactly.
Well, not the English one.
No, yeah. So, but I mean, like, yeah, not the English one. But I mean,
I don't watch the English one either because I'm a Sunderland fan. That's unfortunately. I don't get to watch the English Championship.
For all we know, he might be having good games though for Nottingham Forest, you know.
And it goes back to that argument of we're not blessed with centre half either.
So again, why not?
Yeah, why not? See what he's doing.
Why not? Yeah.
And also, it's a squad. It's a squad.
See when he has played for Scotland before that, he's not made any mistakes. No. I don't think he's made any mistakes, and he does seem to be a kind of. I know he's not your kind of like classy ball playing defender, but he's a big lad.
But you need that.
Good in the air. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what you want as centre half. We've
already mentioned that Gallagher's in, and we kind of brushed over Gallagher because, yes, Gallagher's been amazing for Scotland. McKenna's that similar kind of guy to Gallagher. And the way Scotland play, and again, we'll talk about this later, with that sort of three at the back, you need a mixture. You need a guy like a Gallagher or a Mckenna who are probably fighting for the same jersey in that team, let's be honest. You need a guy, a no-nonsense centre half who's just going to go and win headers, boot the ball away, make a big tackle, and then you can have other guys maybe round about him like a Jack Hendry who maybe have a bit more ball play.
Exactly.
So maybe he's thinking, I'll try these two boys together and see how they play.
Well, that's what it's all about, you know.
Squad.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll be mentioning this later on anyway. I mean, our focus now is on the Euros. Getting there is a massive achievement for us anyway. Never mind the World Cup.
Please let us in the ground.
But yes, please.
I've got a ticket for the last group game. Please let me in.
I'm on my knees.
We already nothing left. We already planned on going to London for the final, right? I know we're not going to be there, but you know. Just let us into that game.
Cubs
Cubs do London. Cubs do Wembley.
Could you imagine? Jesus.
More on the Cubs and future podcast. Cheers. Nice. So how do we cut there? Just because cameraman / sound engineer / host of the venue, Si, said that the audio was a wee bit off. So we're learning as we go. Are we doing another cheers?
Another cheers.
Any excuse for a cheers?
What a guy.
I'm drinking this a lot quicker than you.
I know you are. I think you're enjoying yourself, aren't you?
Thirsty what then? Right, so where did we get to? We got to, we kind of finished talking about Scott McKenna, didn't we?
Yeah, Scott McKenna, yeah. So we're talking about him. And the season at Forest so far, I mean,
17th place. Joint points for 18th place with a game in hand.
Forest are?
There's a game in hand over there. Huddersfield have a game in hand and they've got the same points.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
So they are having a really bad season then, aren't they? But they always seem to be the bottom half though, don't they? It seems years since
there was a time where they were always like, maybe it's longer ago than I thought, but there was always a time where like Forest will be in the playoffs and they'll maybe get to the semis and then they'll get put out.
Yeah.
Like,
it's one of them, I don't know.
But
they really are.
I think for what McKenna's done in the SPL for years, this is his first year down south. You never know, he might end up getting a move to a better team in England. Or maybe somebody might pick Celtic and centre halves. You never know, he might get a move back up the road. He's been linked to us in the past.
Maybe.
So you don't know.
Yeah.
I think he deserves to be in the squad at least, very least the squad for the career.
Definitely, I agree.
But we'll go up a couple because we did miss out the elephant in the room.
Oh, Jesus. Harry Ego
himself, Mr. Grant Hanley.
Yes.
Again, it's a squad game and all that. I don't mind Clark having a look at players. Like we said, he's having a look at Hendry. He's maybe having a look at McKenna after how he's been down south. How the hell is Grant Hanley even considered for the World Cup qualifier squad?
You know what I'm going to go on the basis of here, right? I agree to a certain extent. From what I've seen, he's a bit of a bomb scare.
A bit?
Yeah. A bit of
He's
a
been
bomb
part
scare.
of like Scotland's failure for the last 10 years.
Yeah, but that's what I don't understand though, right? Because he's at Norwich just now.
Norwich having a great season.
They're flying.
But they don't have to defend. What happens? Norwich are like the only team.
But that shows you that he must do the basics well then.
But if the Scotland centre half, you need to do a lot more than the basics.
But think about some of the other centre halves that we've got in there in the squad just now.
Yeah.
So like Declan Gallagher.
Declan Gallagher plays for a team like Motherwell, who are not going to be dominating the ball every week. There's going to be probably just as many games where Motherwell are on top as they're on the back foot.
But you're proving my point.
But think
do
about
the basics well.
Think about it though. Norwich are that perennial yo-yo team. They go down to the Championship. They're far too good to be there. They go up to the Prem. They get absolutely smashed. And because when they're in the Championship, they're always on the front foot. They're not having to be switched on at centre half, having to defend all the time.
Here's one for you.
And when they go up to the Premier League, when they have to do that, they get smashed all the time. And who's been at centre half for them for years? Grant Hanley, who used to play for Norwich at centre half as well. Russell Martin, who played at Scotland centre half for years together and did absolutely garbage football at the back. Grant Hanley and Russell Martin. Should not be anywhere near that squad.
So here's one for you, because we've discussed this before about Shane Duffy.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we all thought, oh, what a signing for Celtic.
We're talking about Shane Duffy.
We all thought, what a great signing for Celtic, yeah, outstanding.
Yep.
Right? He's been there, experience for Brighton.
Yep.
He's captain of Ireland. And we're thinking, what a signing for Celtic, right? And then he comes into a side where it should be more comfortable to play in, right? Easier league, arguably. You imagine, right? He comes in, and what happens? He's struggling. Struggled, right?
Shot was too big for him.
But you were saying there about Hanley playing in a team that doesn't have to defend. So with Celtic, when we were speaking about Duffy, you were saying that he needs to play he's playing for a Brighton team that tend to defend in their box, right?
Every week in the Prem.
Now, with Hanley then, you're saying that he won't do that because they won't have to defend, right? So do you think Hanley would be a good signing for Celtic?
No, for the same reasons that...
But Celtic like to play the football.
We do, but he can't do that either.
So what does he do then? So he does absolutely nothing for Norwich, is what you're saying, but he starts every week.
He doesn't... You're on about him signing for Celtic. He doesn't suit the way Celtic defender was.
But
we're drifting away from something now. Let's talk about like the good defenders Celtic have had in recent years. Your Virgil van Dijks, your Chris Ayers, your Jason Deniers, your Chris Julians, your ball players. That's the kind of defender you probably need to be a Celtic player. In terms of like playing on the front foot from defence. Grant Hanley's that kind of guy that when he doesn't have to do anything, he's fine. But Norwich have been so dominant that he's not to defend the whole season.
But he must have something though.
The difference is, you use Duffy though, the difference is when he was playing for Brighton, like he was out of the team for the last year, which is why Celtic got him in the first place. When he did play for Brighton and he was keeping them up for a few years, he was having to defend every week and he was doing it well. He was keeping them up. My point was, whenever Hanley's been in the Premier League with Norwich, and when Martin was in the Premier League with Norwich, whenever they were up, they were having to defend every week and they couldn't do it. They could maybe squeeze staying up for one season, but most of the time they would come up and go straight back down.
Yeah.
And go straight back down. Whereas Brighton have come up and stayed up. They may go down this year, they've got in that battle with Newcastle right now.
Yeah.
But
I get what you're saying.
I think he's been given, take it back to Scotland, I think Hanley's been given too many chances as the number one centre half, never mind making a squad. It was always him and Martin. Every year it was him and Martin at centre half, and every year we would fail to qualify for something. I feel like we need to move on. I would rather start somebody like Hendry over giving Hanley another chance. I think he's been there, done it. Yeah. He's probably passed it. He's not going to get any better than what he has been. And at his best, he was not.
Just to get back to my main point, anyway, Hanley wouldn't start for Scotland. We all know that.
But I don't think he should be in the squad either.
But that's what I'm saying. So if he's not going to start for Scotland or probably get near the team, then he shouldn't be there.
I agree.
But at the same time, he's playing for Norwich side that are flying in the Championship, right? But we've got boys that are we've got boys at Aberdeen that are struggling, like Considine in the squad. Yeah, we've got Aberdeen are struggling for form in the league just now, right?
And yet, you say struggling, they're fourth.
But that's. I mean, recently though, they've been struggling. They have been struggling. Yeah, they're fourth, but I don't know how Aberdeen fans think about that.
Hanley's always been in that squad as a starter. I don't see the point in taking him as a backup, because he's been a starter and he was never good enough when he was a starter. I would rather give somebody like an Andy Considine, who's been so consistent for his whole career for a team like Aberdeen. I'd rather give him a chance as a squad player, because Andy Considine knows he's not going to start for Scotland. I think he knows. He knows he's going to be there if the worst comes to the worst and everyone else is injured and we need to throw him on at centre half or left back, because there's been years where he's played centre half and moved out at left back for a few years.
I must say,
I think he deserves to be. I don't think that's a question.
I agree, because I do like Considine. When I've watched him play, I think he's been solid for Scotland. But he does the basics well.
Loves
That's what I like about him.
Loves a goal at Dens as well.
He does, which I hate.
I was looking.
That's why I don't want him in the squad.
I used to work at a.
He doesn't deserve it.
I used to work at a petrol station, and I remember there was Aberdeen fans going home that night, and they came in, and I was like, "Oh, what was the score?" I can't remember what the score was. It 3-0?
More than that.
Say it was 3-0.
I think he scored 3 goals himself, a hat-trick against
Say it was 3-0. I was like, oh, great result for Aberdeen. I says, who scored? And they went, oh, Constantine got a hat-trick. And I was like, no, really, who scored? They went, no, really, Constantine got a hat-trick.
Yeah. I think you're being kind saying it was 3-0. It was like 5-0 or something like that. But anyway.
5.
Yeah, it was 5, wasn't it? Yeah. I never forget those ones.
But yeah, right. Well, but I mean, this is only us blagging about the World Cup centre-halves. We'll get on to who we think should be in the Euro squad later.
Yes, we will.
So the full-backs that he's picked for the World Cup qualifying squad, he's got O'Donnell, Palmer, Robertson, Taylor and Tierney. I don't think you can argue with that for full-backs.
Now,
maybe the only question there is why he's taking 5 full-backs and maybe not another centre-half. That's what I would maybe say.
Now, what's your thoughts on Palmer?
He's really good on FIFA.
Great. Go on, man.
I think the debate there is, again, we're not blessed with loads of centre-halves. What Scotland, and again we'll move on to this later, what Scotland have got loads of are left-backs and centre midfielders. We don't have a lot of centre-halves, we don't have a lot of right-backs.
Yeah.
Stephen O'Donnell, I think, he's always going to play. Clark had him at Kilmarnock. He was very good with Kilmarnock when Clark was in Kelly were the third best team in the league at that point. I'm sure they finished third. Certainly his last season, I'm sure they finished third. They might have even finished in, I think they were solid top 6 the season before that.
Yeah, they were.
But
I think they finished third though, didn't they? They did.
Kilmarnock were very good under Clark, and O'Donnell was one of his key players.
Yeah.
So as soon as he became Scotland manager, you knew he was going to get caps. Not a problem with that. Taylor's the same. He had Taylor at Kilmarnock again. They were probably outside of like Tavernier and Tierney in the SPL at that point. They were the next 2 best fullbacks in the league. So he's always going to, every national team manager does it. Levine did it with guys like Goodwillie, for example, got a few caps. Gary Kenneth had to match Zlatan Ibrahimovic under Craig Levine. So managers are always going to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that, as long as they perform when they've got to the top level.
Yeah.
I think O'Donnell's done that, definitely. You could argue that he's called up Taylor as a backup to Robertson because he's not actually going to be using Tierney as a left back. He's going to, like, the way Tierney's been playing is part of like that left side of centre half. So you can understand that.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say that's
he's
fine.
kind of been doing that for Arsenal, but not
as much this season. Not as much this season. Arteta's changed back to like a back 4, but for about best part of a year, Arsenal were playing 5 at the back, which is excellent for Scotland because Tierney was playing the same position. So it was no longer you're having to shoehorn Tierney and Robertson, arguably like 2 best players into the same team. Because Tierney was a centre back. Tierney was a centre back for Arsenal.
Used to that position, definitely.
So I think that's what he's saying. I've got Robertson, I've got Taylor, I've got O'Donnell, I've got Palmer, and then I've got Tierney as a defender. I think Palmer's fine as a backup, again as a squad player. We know O'Donnell's going to start because the only other one that I could really think of was Callum Patterson.
Now,
but he's not even a right back anymore. He plays a different position every week almost. He's been playing in midfield more recently. He's been playing right back.
I want to throw something into the mix here though. Now this was supposed to be, I was supposed to hold on to this until later in our discussion, but I'm going to bring this up now because we're quite into this. This season, I think St Johnstone have been outstanding, very good, solid, absolute
got
units.
top 6, haven't they?
Yeah, quite comfortably as well.
And they started the season off quite poorly.
Quite comfortably as well. Now, one of their standout players for me this season is Sean Rooney.
He got one on the cup final, didn't he?
He did.
And they played 5 at the back.
He did. And I tell you something about him, he's got so much energy, bombs up and down that right hand side. And
I've not seen a lot of Saints, so I couldn't comment.
Honestly, I've seen a fair amount of games. I've seen him in the final as well against Livy. Outstanding. Doesn't stop, the guy. Doesn't stop. And I really think he deserved the call up.
Okay. To at least give him a chance.
Definitely. I think even as that backup option, when I seen Palmer, we were playing against, what was it now? It was the Gibraltar game, wasn't it? Was it Gibraltar? No. We got beat heavily.
He's played a few times.
But we got beat heavily by one of the teams.
It wouldn't have been Gibraltar. Even we couldn't
I was
get beaten.
away from home, and we got thumped, absolutely thrashed.
Was Palmer right
and
back?
Palmer was right back. No, it wasn't purely his fault, but I mean the squad and the whole squad was poor, but he didn't impress.
Yeah.
That was his chance to shine.
We can come back to that for the squad, definitely. Because I wouldn't have considered Rooney, because again, I've not really watched him.
I would definitely say he deserves the call up.
I can see why he's called Palmer, and again, clearly as a backup.
Yeah.
I would say Palmer over Patterson, because like I said, Patterson was in the last squad. He came on in the Serbia game, for example. But it was like, let's get some fresh legs on. You've played right back before. Just go on and do a job. But it's a square peg in a round hole. So it's been a long time since he was at Hearts playing right back.
Yeah.
A long time.
No, we know that. He's a versatility player anyway. He's kind of like a handyman in your team.
He's a Christian Daly. That's what Callum Patterson is.
Exactly.
Somebody gets injured. Oh right, crap. Callum, you'll do it.
That said again, my good friend Robbie, who is a Heartsman, he's been following. He's been following him just now at Sheffield Wednesday. He actually won Player of the Month in the Championship.
Really? Patterson?
Yeah. Patterson.
Oh, Palmer?
No, Patterson. He won Player of the Month, and he's got 7 goals so far for Sheffield Wednesday.
So there's maybe a case of putting him further forward.
So that's why I don't want to say too much, because I agree with you that he shouldn't be in there for that full back role, because he's not played there for years.
Right.
He's more of that up front.
Yeah.
Like that.
He's not a defender anymore.
Yeah, he's not a defender.
Scottish Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
Moving on. Unlock the potential.
That's it. Yep.
So we're kind of bleeding into the picking the squad chat.
Yeah.
So we'll maybe go through midfield to front a bit quicker, and then we can move on to the main event, if you like.
Yeah.
Who we're putting in our squads, and more importantly, what squad numbers they're going to have.
No.
Because you hope you've done that.
Absolutely.
People care.
No, they don't.
They do.
They don't.
I do.
No, they don't.
Anyway, I'll make you care. I'll sell it to you.
Don't listen to him.
Anyway, right. So midfield to front's quite less controversial. You argue. Midfield, he's got Stuart Armstrong, Ryan Christie, John Fleck, Ryan Jack. Neil McGinn. Oh, imagine what Neil McGinn. John McGinn, Callum McGregor, Kenny McLean, and Scott McTominay.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. Again, I'm going to leave that until we talk about the squad. I wouldn't have McTominay as a midfielder personally. And up front, he's got Lyndon Dykes, Ryan Fraser, Ollie McBurney, Kevin Nisbet, and Che Adams. Again, I think that's fine. Personally, apart from, I don't know. Well, we'll talk about it more in the squad as to why we're not picking these guys. You'll probably agree with me. McBurney should not be anywhere near that squad. He's a striker that does not score goals.
Absolutely.
People maybe could argue. There's an argument about that about Dykes as well. Yeah. He's not actually scored. I think since that last time he was called for Scotland in November, and QPR haven't played him. But
I know he's been benched. Yeah.
He is very important to the way Scotland's set up.
He's pivotal to our team.
And McBurney isn't.
No.
McBurney's just a lump up front.
He's had countless chances to prove himself.
How many times does he want to make it quite clear that he's not actually that arsed about playing for Scotland? I don't care.
Every single time he pulls on that shirt.
And it's all these like the video of him and Fleck, again another one who shouldn't be literally based on form. Sheffield United have a horrendous season. There should not be a Sheffield United player in that team.
Yeah.
They were great last season. If the Euros won last season, you can make a much better case, especially for John Fleck being in the Scotland team. This season, absolutely not. Not for me.
I agree on that one. Like you say, the midfield to the front, the strikers, it kind of is self-explanatory. You know, you kind of have that idea of who should be starting. Yeah. They kind of pick themselves. But we're kind of blessed with it.
Well, I don't know if it's easy to say who's starting, because I think a lot of them are so good.
Well, no, you can
arguably pick. But I would say that it's easy to say who should be in the squad, and then you could say basically any 2 or 3 will probably go out and do their job. Because I know me and you are going to disagree on our lineups later.
Yeah, we are. And that's why we're doing this. This is why everyone's listening.
The good thing about the Scotland squad right now is that, the defence I think is quite straightforward.
Yeah.
And the striker, you're either probably going to be picking between 1 of 3, or maybe 4. But the midfield's the big one though. It's who you play in midfield. So we'll get on to that. I think.
Sorry, I need to be taught up there.
That's fine. There you go. Help yourself.
Absolutely, thank you.
So,
how are you getting on, Simon?
I don't think Fleck should be in. I at all. Because again, I think we've got a lot of other midfielders who are a lot better than him anyway, but especially on form. Sheffield United had one of the worst points totals in Premier League history. So
sorry, who's this you're talking about?
Sheffield United. So I think Fleck and McBurney, because they've been so poor at club level, they should not be getting into Scotland's first European Championships for God knows how long. Since Euro 96, actually. That's the last time they were in the Euros.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I mean, we are blessed with having so many good midfielders in there, especially. It's such a competitive spot to get into the team, and as you said, it's a dilemma who you actually pick. It is. It's a good problem for a change for Scotland, you know, because how many years have we always had the same old players? You know they're going to be starting. You just know they're going to be starting, don't you?
It's an even better problem to have if you pick the right players in the squad as well.
Yeah.
So again, hopefully, in McBurney's case, this could be right. You've got to do something now, otherwise you're not getting on the team. I don't think that'll be the case though, because I was talking about earlier. Managers will have the players that they like, and they'll always play. I worry that McBurney's one of them. And I don't think, and he's not even going to be a starter.
He seems to like McBurney for whatever reason. I don't see.
Maybe he's a good trainer. Maybe he is.
He's not a fucking good player though, is he?
No, that's the problem.
Might be good at the gym or something. I don't know, but footballing wise, I don't know what people say in him. I really don't. From what I've seen, he doesn't score. As you say, he's a striker that doesn't score goals.
And he doesn't even look like he's going to score.
But even for like quite a tall guy, right? He doesn't really. He's not dominating the play or anything. He doesn't link the play well. At least
Well, that's what Dykes does.
That's what Dykes does.
The whole six to him.
But you see, if you watch the past few games now with Scotland, he wins basically everything in the air, Dykes. Yeah. Absolutely everything.
And he did it against the very...
He gets us up the pitch. That's what we need. We need someone that's a pivotal figure up there that we could
the fact that he did that,
last push up.
The fact that he did that against a very physical team in Serbia.
Yeah.
Serbia are no mugs. I wasn't overly confident going into that game because we know that they've got very good players.
Yeah.
You always thought there's a chance we'll do it, but we need to play well.
Yeah.
And we did, and he was one of the best players on the pitch. He went out and did his job.
We were outstanding.
He went up. We were like, let's get the ball out of our own defence. Get it up to London. He lets it stick. He let McGinn and Christie and McGregor and Jack get up the park. Gets you 50 yards up the pitch almost sometimes.
Easy.
No, he didn't.
And he even chases down his flick-ons, you know what I mean? So he's one of these players, he gives everything.
He's unselfish.
Exactly. And to be fair, when he's had a chance, he showed that he could take them.
And he scored the odd goal for Scotland.
Yeah, and for the amount of chances that we create, we don't create many, but he's took the chances when they've came. He's got to be there.
If you have a centre forward that's not necessarily going to get you 5 or 6 goals in a tournament or whatever, he needs to be doing something else.
Yeah.
He needs to be bringing something to the team.
But McBurney is that.
He doesn't bring that.
He doesn't bring anything.
The best example of that, and I'm going to make it my mission to try and mention him on every podcast because God love him, Olivier Giroud.
Oh, beautiful man.
What a man.
Beautiful man.
He was here earlier, in Plymouth.
I've heard that he's got a Scottish granny.
He won a World Cup for France playing centre forward. He did not score a goal. But he created all the space for Kylian Mbappe and Antoine Griezmann to score the goals. So if you're not scoring goals as a big man up front, you need to be contributing something.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Dykes can be that guy for us.
Yeah.
And he might end up chipping in with the odd goal from a free kick or a corner or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's what
you could see, as we've agreed anyway, from like the midfielders to the front, it's kind of like self-explanatory. I mean, there has obviously been some where I would include, but we're obviously going to speak about that when we come to our squad.
So that's a rough assessment of rough, probably about half an hour, 40 minutes or however long it's been.
I'm waiting for the darkness to fall. One big bomb to drop on top of us all. And it don't matter whose tweet you like, who's getting married and who's in a fight. We'll be gone, we'll be gone, we'll be gone.
We've talked enough about the World Cup.
Yeah, well,
because that's the next tournament. Because we'll get
easy.
Yeah,
I mean, we've done the Euros,
this is what we do now. That's qualifying.
We're big players now, aren't we? We're big players.
Yeah.
Big team.
It's coming home. Right, so let's go on to the juicy stuff.
Yes.
Who we would take to the Euros if we were the Scotland manager. Because it's not what we think will happen, it's what we want to happen.
It will happen.
It will happen. It will. Right. So, probably the less debatable part of it are
Formation.
goalkeepers.
Are we going to start with formation first?
Do you want, we'll do starting 11 later. I think we'll go through our squads first, and then from our squads we can pick who we're going to have in 11.
No, I've only got the starting 11.
Well,
That's all I want.
You've not done a 23-man squad?
No. I don't care.
What?
As long as we've got the starting 11, we'll win it.
You think so?
Absolutely.
So I've went into the effort of picking a 23-man squad, which is what we said we were going to do for this
I'll let you
podcast.
crack on.
So, well, there you go. Well, okay.
I only need 11 players.
You can chip in where you think.
Yeah.
And you can say whether you agree or disagree.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my squad. I'll tell you my starting 11.
Yeah.
And you can tell me what and or indeed
Where you
anything
need to
would
improve.
change. Yeah. Right. So, to my point earlier on, my goalkeepers are David Marshall.
What guy?
Craig Gordon.
Yeah.
And I am going to make the bold statement that John McLaughlin does not make the team. Because for the sake of this tournament, we should not take him and we should just tell Alan McGregor to come out of retirement for the Euros.
Oh.
Because he's been unbelievable this season for Rangers.
What a keeper. What a keeper.
Will he start? Probably not. Should he start? Probably not, because Marshall's the one that's got us there.
He's got us there.
He had the heroics. And yes, Craig Gordon, staple of the international team for the best part of 15 years?
Yeah.
If not longer.
This is another...
To sit on the bench, would you not rather have the guy that's been playing in goal for Rangers for the vast majority of the season, and arguably Sky Sports were talking earlier on about him potentially winning Player of the Year in the whole league? Wow. And can you argue with that? Rangers as a club have only conceded 10 goals this season.
It's been outstanding.
And McGregor's not conceded all of those 10 goals. There'll have been, I don't know off the top of my head, McLaughlin will let a couple of them in at some point at the start of the season.
I tell you something.
Can you not, if Zlatan Ibrahimovic can get back into the Sweden team, can we not call up Alan McGregor to sit on the bench?
I 100% want him in there. 100%. Just, for me... I totally 100% agree with you with Marshall having to start. He got us there. But as part of the squad, McGregor's been outstanding.
One of the best players.
And he's always been a really good keeper, he has. But we all know he's an unbelievable shot stopper. I know that's the cliche with goalkeepers. Oh, he's a good shot stopper, you have to be. But he brings more to
his
that.
job.
But he brings...
To quote Roy Keane.
He gets paid to do that.
Martin O'Neill tipped him to be the Celtic manager today. So who knows?
Yeah.
Keane versus Gerrard. That's for another podcast. Anyway,
We'll leave it there. Just...
but yeah, I think McGregor should be in there.
He has to. He has to be.
Sorry, John, Sunderland legend and all that, but I would have Alan McGregor as a backup keeper.
He has to be.
Ahead of Gordon.
I think
And
McGregor...
Gordon should be there, because again, McGregor and Gordon were the ones.
So do you think if Clark phoned up McGregor he would do it? But do you think he'd change his mind?
Well, yeah, because he's probably not going to have to play. But why not have him in the squad?
Be a part
Because
of the
what
party.
happens if
It'd be the party, you know what
Exactly,
I mean? That's
yeah.
it, he's joining in.
Shagger get him involved?
Oh, that's it, yeah. Say no more, sign us up.
Allegedly. that makes it okay. But yeah, the three keepers, those three have been probably the best keepers Scotland have had for the past 20 years.
That's what I was going to get onto as well, Dan. That's another area.
They've all had their time as a number one.
Just wait, Dan, right? We are blessed with goalkeepers.
Blessed.
Absolutely blessed. Blessed with the best, mate. Yeah. That's exactly what we've got in the goalkeeper department. They're all outstanding, really, they are. Marshall, he's a very good keeper as well. Gordon, really good keeper.
Yep.
He pulls off some unbelievable saves. Doing it in the Championship again. He does it every week. Yeah. Every week I see him pull off an outstanding save. And that has been really important for Hearts as well.
Yep.
Because they've not really, I know they're maybe 12 points ahead of everyone else. And they should be,
because
with the amount that they're spending.
Team of internationals playing the Championship.
As Robbie was saying to me the other day, they've got 6 international players. Six international players in their squad.
We've got
7 internationals.
Gordon, Naismith, Kingsley. off the top
Well,
of the
they've
head.
got
I'll just
Smith
Scotch
as
it,
well.
so Whiting's played. Has Whiting played for Scotland yet?
He's at Dunfermline now.
Oh, is he gone? Well, permanently?
Yep.
Breaking news.
He's
But then they've got is it the right back? Was it Smith? Is that his name?
That's it,
And
that's
they've got
what I'm
Boyce
saying,
up,
Northern
they've got Boyce
Ireland.
up front, 2 on Arsenal's as well.
Yeah.
But we all knew that Hearts would walk that.
No, we didn't know that. But
Again, Gordon's.
But my point
because
is,
he's playing every week.
my
He
point
deserves
is,
a place in the team.
see if they didn't have him in the goal though, they would definitely have dropped points. Definitely have dropped points.
And I think for the amount of holes that Craig Gordon has dug Scotland out of over the years, it would be a crime not to have him.
We know he's not.
Well, who else are we going to have?
We know he's not great with his feet, but at the end of the day, the keeper's there to keep the ball out of the net. Simple. For me, that's all that matters, right? If they could play out with their feet, it's great as well.
He did get a bit better when Rodgers was a Celtic manager, to be fair.
Yeah.
He had one really good season. The Invincible season, he was like actually doing that. But like you said, he's not there to do that.
No, that's not a job. And let's face it, Scotland aren't a ball playing team.
No.
So at the end of the day, perfect. And like you say,
Or are we?
well, who knows? And the creme de la creme, McGregor. You know what I mean?
I think those
that
three-
unbelievable.
So
Unbelievable.
are we starting with an agreement?
I think we are.
That'll no last.
No.
Prepared for fights.
Here we go.
Right. So I have selected 8 defenders. 8. Because we're going to be playing a back 5. Let's be honest, on the clock.
Yes, we are.
So I've got 8 that fit in there.
Okay.
So, although I may already make a change over what you've talked about, and because you convinced me, I'm not all about animosity on this. I'll listen to you.
That's the first.
I'll take it in. So I've got O'Donnell,
Yeah.
and I've got Palmer. However, I am willing, live, well, pre-recorded on camera, to take Mr. Liam Palmer out of my Scotland team and put young Rooney from St Johnstone in.
Good lad.
You've convinced me.
Good lad.
And League Cup winners medal this season. Scored the winner, didn't he?
He did.
And
another thing-
playing at right wing back in the formation that we're likely to play.
That's what I'm saying. He's been outstanding.
Yeah.
And you see another thing about him as well. He's only a young lad, as we know, right? 22, but he's an absolute unit.
Yeah.
He's a unit, and you know what? He brings an aerial threat to us as well.
Yeah.
And I think that could be a big thing for Scotland with the Euros. Yeah.
Being
Set
tough.
pieces.
Yep.
All over it. Rooney, boom. You know what I mean? He'll be top goal scorer in the Euros. Here we go. $5 on it, or the
Finally,
million.
a player called Rooney being top goal scorer at a tournament.
But yes. Back.
Sorry, Alan.
Is it too soon?
He's retired now. It's fine.
So no, I'm glad we'll have some form of agreement, mate. It's going well just now. 2 agreements.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So I've got 4 centre half picks
Okay.
to go into the 3, but we'll
Yeah.
talk about the 3 later.
Okay.
I have got Scott McKenna, Declan Gallagher, Kieran Tierney,
Yeah.
and I have Scott McTominay written down as a centre half.
Yes.
Because he plays centre half for Scotland. And arguably, I think that's a great pick to have as part of your defence. Because if you need, if for some reason the whole team gets COVID or something, then McTominay could go into midfield. If
Yeah,
need
you
be.
could slot in there. Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen?
I like it.
And sorry, I've missed one out. I've got Constantine as well.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier on, I think Constantine deserves to be in there as a squad player.
I agree.
And my left backs are, or my left wing back. My left wing back is Robertson.
Yeah.
Because you've got Tierney can fill it. You can afford to take that extra centre half in Constantine.
Exactly.
Because he can
And you
also
can
play
slot
left
in
back,
there.
and Tierney can also play
Yeah.
left back.
Yeah.
So you've got Tierney, Constantine can play 2 positions, and then you've got
The left-hand side
Robertson.
takes care of
It does.
itself.
So we'll move into the midfield.
Yeah.
Unless you want to add anyone in, are you happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Is there a case that somebody like Jack Hendry, if he plays really well in the warm-up games, well, not warm-up games, they're not warm-up games, they're World Cup games.
Right.
Is there a case that he could maybe get in front of somebody like Constantine, for example?
Why not?
Maybe depending on how well he plays.
Why not? That's
He's probably the only, despite the fact I've said he probably does deserve to be there for his consistency, for his time at Aberdeen.
We've said that, but again, we've spoke about Hendry as well, and the form that he's been in Belgium. You know what, as you said, it depends how he does in the qualifiers.
This is his time to show
That's
up.
it, that's why Clark's called him up there, because to prove himself.
Yeah.
So I don't see any reason why, if he's outstanding, I think it's going to be hard for him to say, no, you're not coming to the Euros. So it's his chance, he's got a chance, he's just got to take it.
Okay, so we're settled on goalkeepers and defenders.
Absolutely.
This is where it gets tasty.
Oh,
So in midfield,
yeah.
My midfield squad, I've got, so I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 slots for midfield. So that I'm unlike what the BBC were doing there with that last squad, which is where I got it from, I'm not including wingers in the forwards. I'm including centre midfielders and wingers as my midfielders.
Okay.
So I've just got 3 strikers.
Yeah. Okay.
So bear that in mind. Mm-hmm. So my midfielders are Ryan Jack, Callum McGregor, John McGinn, Stuart Armstrong, Ryan Christie, James Forrest, Ryan Fraser, and my 2 wildcard picks I talked to you about. I was going to pick guys who maybe haven't been called up or maybe people haven't thought of. There's one big one that's quite obvious, and a lot of people have talked about this week especially. And there's one that me and you have actually talked about before, despite us trying not to talk a lot about football on the Leeds Saturday Week podcast.
Is it really?
Exactly. That and still game.
That's it.
David Turnbull.
Yeah.
And you're going to like this. Ryan Gold.
Oh, yes.
You are gold.
I can't fight. No discussion, just pick up the thoughts.
Now, again, I think we can all agree that Jack, McGregor, McGinn, Armstrong, Christie, they're all in. Those last 4 have not been in squads recently. But so let's just accept the first 4. We can agree with that. The second 4, James Forrest has been injured for most of this season. He's not fully fit yet. He was on the bench today for Celtic and didn't get on until about the last 15-20 minutes of the derby today. But you cannot tell me that if he doesn't get fit between now and the end of the season, he's not in the squad.
One thing I would say about James Forrest, I agree, he's a good player, right?
Excellent player.
Now, where does he fit into our formation?
Right,
because we've just agreed that we're playing the 5 at the back, right?
Yep.
Those pushing on. Now, do you not think it's risky playing James Forrest there, because he is attack minded, he isn't defensively minded, and a lot of this time in the tournament I guess we're going to be defending. We won't be attacking.
He's an outball though.
But we've got Dykes.
We do have Dykes, but we need somebody running off Dykes.
We've got others. Armstrong, he will get beyond. We've got McGinn, he's willing to get beyond.
But I think Forrest's a better option. The one thing that we noticed in Serbia was that
But will that not be a weakness?
What you have to remember is that when we played that way in Serbia, we had McGinn and Christie playing off Dykes. McGinn is a central midfielder. He doesn't play wide at all. He was playing like out of position in that game. And Christie, I was moaning to you about this in our group chat that we've got with our pals earlier on. The first thing I said when the Celtic team got released today was Christie on the right wing again.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it, and
no.
Fair enough, right? He scored the goal in that Scotland game, but he scored it because he came inside the pitch.
Yeah.
He didn't do that because he came in on the right wing.
I agree with you with that, but we're
Came off the right
Forrest.
Yeah. I know. So I'm saying that rather than playing Ryan Christie in position, or Niall McGinn, I keep saying Niall McGinn. Niall McGinn.
Just want to be Scottish.
He's got Niall McGinn on the brain. Instead of playing John McGinn out of position as an inside left or a left winger, whatever you want to call him, because he was playing more as an inside left, and having Robertson bombing on, I would rather have wingers out there. I would rather have somebody like Forrest
on either side. We've obviously got Robertson, but
I would rather have. I think we'd be even better if we had a guy like Forrest or Fraser playing in those positions. I mean, we'll talk. That's probably a spoiler for who I'm going to be playing earlier on my team. But for me, I can't see Forrest not deserving of being in that team if he gets fit. He's got 2 months to get fit. We're middle of March now, aren't we?
yeah.
So if there's still like half a dozen games and potentially a couple of Celtic have got a couple of Scottish Cup games potentially if they get to the latter rounds of it for Forrest to get fit. If he's fit, he can't not be in the Scotland squad in my opinion. You can't take somebody like John Fleck over James Forrest. No way. We've got so many good centre midfielders like we've talked about. Jack, you could play any two of Jack, McGregor, McGinn, Armstrong and Christie in the middle. And they would do a job for Scotland.
The one thing that I would give for you, definitely, is that he's definitely a player of quality, as we know, right? He is a good player, we know that, right? But he's a handy player to have if we ever want to change it up as well.
True. Well, there's another reason for why he should be at least in the squad. At least in the squad. So forget starting him. He should be in the squad.
Say if we became fucking Brazil at the Euros, you know?
Well,
and
that wouldn't be allowed because, as we know, they're from South America.
That's very true, but you know
Portugal then. St. Language.
We've got Cardiff Beef, right? They're the blue Bristol, right?
So horrible ground.
So I would say if Clark ever decided to feel brave, we could maybe even go a 4-3-3.
I like brave.
Scotland the brave, they say.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh cheers.
I'm going to find that.
And because I've got Forrest in there, if I want to play with wingers, I think our best out and out left winger is Ryan Fraser.
I agree, mate. I agree. Yeah.
He's maybe.
I thought he was very good, and he was playing out of position. They were playing him as a striker the last game. Do you remember that?
It
was
Scotland.
He was playing as a striker because he was centre. He wasn't playing out on the wing. He was actually in the centre, and he was making a lot of runs in behind. And he's got that pace that defenders hate it anyway. You know what I mean? That's what they hate, his pace.
He's proved that he's a good player at Premier League level as well. I know we know Newcastle aren't great,
not flying, but we know.
But especially, I think it was the season before last at Bournemouth, he was one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And the year that he was out of contract, so it was the season before this season. There was talks of him like going to Arsenal or Scotland. They were both in for him.
Yeah.
So
I know. We know he's a good player. Again, he's got to be in the squad for me.
Definitely, easily in the squad.
Yeah.
And that's that. Then you can ask that question: do we want to be brave and play wingers? A phrase on the Forest, or do we want to be tighter and play like a Christian and McKenna like we did in Serbia? You can talk about that later.
You know
what?
It's a nice dilemma I have anyway, for sure. It's a lovely dilemma I have.
Yeah.
Because you know, if let's face it, right? We've obviously not gone in. I don't want to give too much away about our starting lineup or formations or whatnot, right? But we all know that it's going to be a 5 at the back. We know it's going to. Yeah. So it's going to be that. Right?
I think that's right. I think that's the right thing.
I agree. But if we do start to feel brave, as we've said,
change it in game.
We could change it.
Custom targets.
You know, if maybe like we feel like, you know what, let's have a bit of pressure here. Go for a 4-3-3.
You'd be like James.
I mean, let's face it. All of us aren't expecting Scotland to win the Euros anyway.
Oh no.
Right? So why not go for it? You know, we don't care. We're there for the party, aren't we? You know. So why not? Why not?
So that moves me on to my last two midfielders.
Yeah.
I think it's mental that David Turnbull's not in the World Cup squad.
100%.
How well he's been playing.
100%.
He's dragged Celtic to second place this season, because there was a time where it was like, Jesus Christ, Celtic are doing that badly, they might like struggle to get second place. It was that bad.
Yeah.
And it finally took Celtic halfway through the season. Maybe we should sign this like guy that we spent
like 3 million
2 years chasing on, rather than playing boys who are clearly out of form.
Yeah. 100%, mate. I agree with you on that.
And he's been amazing since then. He's been scoring a goal or assist.
He could definitely
every other game.
Well, I won't say too much because I don't want to dive into my starting 11, but definitely he's in the squad.
He's one of these guys as well that we're going to be relying on for the future. So in that sort of like Theo Walcott style pick, remember when Sven Eriksson turned at Walcott, to almost like get him used to being in the England
It's not
team.
like he's 17.
No.
You know what I mean? It's 16, 17.
21 I think he is now.
Around about that, yeah. He's I mean, he's still young obviously, but he's not that age, you know. It's like 15, 16, 17 He's old enough now. He's a man, you know what I mean? Get him in there. Get him in the squad.
Speaking about men, Ryan Gauld, still only like mid-20s. It's great. It's not that long ago that I was bumping into him in the Union and thinking, you're not old enough to be in here. But then again, he did have John Souttar as his bouncer. By the way, John Souttar, if he wasn't so injury prone, he would have definitely been.
We know that. And if you want a ball playing defender, there's John Souttar.
It's such a shame that like he could have been one of these like amazing players for Scotland.
Yeah.
But he's just too many injuries.
It's a shame. It is a shame. Although I'm a Dundee fan, you know, I can recognise a good player, and he is a good player.
But Gauld, and some people, especially for people who are watching this who aren't in the like living in Dundee and growing up in Dundee, everyone like Mini Messi, this guy, he's going to be a brilliant player. When I heard about how good this lad was, I like when Celtic were at home, I would go and watch like United games to like, so this guy's really good. I remember going a game at St Johnstone, and I think it was his first start for United, and he scored like in the last minute of the game. And you're thinking, right, well, this guy's going to kick on and be a really good player. That next season, I think it was that the season United got to the cup final against Saints? And you lost at Parkhead. One of the best Dundee United teams probably ever, on paper.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute crime that he didn't win that game. Like that, was it 2014? Was that final?
I think it is.
I think it was 14, yeah, because it was 2010 they won it.
Simon, you're off camera, but I'll ask you this, and I reckon you'll agree with me. Do you not think that 2014 team, if they played the cup team that won it in 2010, 14 would beat them?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were so much better. And Reingold didn't even make it onto the bench in that. He only made it onto the bench in that game. So we're back after the wee pee break. Yeah. So back to...
It was gold, wasn't it?
You are gold.
Gold.
Always believe in your soul.
Gold.
But yeah, now my justification behind Reingold for the people who are maybe out of the Dundee bubble of, oh, this guy's amazing. He did go away to Portugal. Again, like we were saying about Jack Henry.
He was young as well.
Maybe too young. Didn't get the game time in the Lisbon first team. Went to the B team. Did okay, but I think he got called up to the first team again and didn't really get into things.
Yeah.
Kind of hard when you've got guys like Bruno Fernandes in front of you. Maybe I'm guessing
Just
they probably
slightly,
played at the same time. I would have to fact check that. You know.
I think you're right though.
Because they would have been playing the same position.
Yeah, they would have.
So he ends up going out on. I don't know if he went out on loan initially to another team or he transferred, but he was in the second division.
He went on loan. He was on loan, definitely.
Was it Vitória?
It's second division.
Is it Vitória?
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm getting my Portuguese.
It is Vitória.
I'm getting my Portuguese second division teams.
Yeah.
Nice, I apologise.
But it was second division, definitely.
And he ended up at this team again, Firenze, I think they're called. That's where I think
That's where he's at now.
So this season, and they're back in the top league.
Yeah,
He's back in the top league anyway.
He was like the star man.
He
as well,
has,
wasn't
and
he?
I was double checking this before we came on today. He has got 7 goals and 4 assists. So that's 11. Risk of sounding very American. 11 goal contributions in 22 games. So he's involved in a goal every 2 games this season so far. Again, I think that's a great option to have. Maybe not starting, but again, like you were saying, if I'm feeling a wee bit brave, we maybe need somebody to come on and maybe unlock a defence. And maybe somebody who hasn't been performing, why not give a guy like him a chance? Because amazingly, he's never been capped for Scotland before. Despite all that hype when he was young, he's never been capped. I think he's only been capped at under 20 or under 21 level.
Okay.
Never got a senior cap.
There you go, eh? That's news to me as well, folks.
But get him on the plane to London.
Yeah, no, hey,
And
he should be coming into his peak.
prime, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, you've got a very good point there, mate. Yeah, maybe take him on. Take him on the plane. Put him on the plane.
Dundee fans saying that Ryan Gold should be in
You know what?
2020s.
The one thing...
No, it's Scotland fun first and foremost.
Exactly.
You know where your bread's back.
That's it. This is a Scotland podcast,
It is.
right? It's not a Dundee podcast today, but just you wait, guys.
Right. It's coming.
It's coming. But no, I mean... I obviously don't watch United when, during that time, because I'm a Dundee fan, right? So...
And you want it in the same league as them.
But I obviously heard a lot of United fans raving about Gold at the time. They were like, oh, this boy's outstanding, right? Outstanding this, outstanding that. I remember I went and seen one game and they were playing Kilmarnock one night, and the standout of the show for me that night was Andy Robertson. He scored 2 goals and I think he provided an assist
Was this
as
the
well.
night that we were all students and we were drunk in the Union and we suddenly decided to go to the United game?
You know what?
You were chatting to 2 Kelly fans who happened to be female and you were trying to get in about them and you went to the Kelly end with them.
No.
Am I remembering that right? I'm sure that
it was the
happened.
wrong way around. There was a girl that I was kind of like seeing. No, not seeing, but anyway, we were kind of flirted anyway.
More of these stories to come.
No,
This week on Marc's Old Flame.
University. Anyway,
What
yeah.
time?
So we thought we were all at the Union. I think it was
Aberdeen.
yeah. And we'll
best union to watch
we'll just decided we'll go to the game tonight.
R.I.P. Aberdeen Union.
Well, it was used, I think. Obviously, I wasn't want to see a United game, but anyway.
You went in the Kelly end.
Aye, so I ended up at the Killy end
Singing about Chris Boyd.
with the band. It was Chris Boyd. He gets the ball. He scores a goal. Chrissy Boyd. I could believe what was happening. Seeds. But Andy Robertson that night, outstanding.
Smashing into Eddie Thompson.
Outstanding. And Ryan Gold, quiet as a mouse. Quiet as a mouse. But I know that was just one game. But that's what I'm basing it on.
And he was about
you know?
17.
Exactly, mate. So 17, 18. So I was like, it's hard to base on that. And I've never watched him since.
No.
So
I can't say I have either.
I mean,
I'm not going to lie.
from the stats that you've looked at, as our good friend Zach will back up there as well, stats don't lie. On that basis, it's hard to argue with that. I think, he's probably got to be included in the squad. As you said, he's not going to be starting. He'll know he's not going to start, but it's a good option to have.
Would you rather have a creative guy in there who can potentially provide you with a goal, whether he scores a goal or assists a goal, or I don't mean to pick on him, but would you want a guy like who's clearly playing well this season?
Yeah.
Or would you want a midfielder like John Fleck, whose team essentially, who he's part of? I'm not meaning to dig out John Fleck, but that's a waste of a shot compared to a guy who's clearly playing well
That can
in a very,
unlock doors
in a very good, for not a big team in a very good league.
He can unlock doors as well.
He's doing that. He's not doing that for Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah.
He's not doing that in that big team Bruno Fernandes role where he's going to get loads of opportunities to do it.
Yeah.
He's doing that for, I don't know, again, I'm not an expert
Like a
on
St
Portuguese
Johnston or
football.
something.
So
Equivalent.
Firenze could be at that level. We need to double check that. But
I mean,
we know
it's
he's
just
not.
we're guessing.
We know he's not. For the outsiders of Portuguese football, as most of us are, let's be honest, the big teams that we know of are like your Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, Braga, Porto, teams like that. Those are like the big guys.
Why would Porto fourth on that list?
I don't know. Oh no, I was bring them up. Big Braga man, I think they're the second team in Portugal. But yeah, basically from my little knowledge of Portuguese football, if you're not playing for one of them, then that's arguably more impressive that he's getting those kind of stats.
Absolutely, mate.
Especially the fact that he's scoring. Like, you would expect him maybe to have more assists than goals, but
he's contributing both.
yeah. So again, I would take a gamble on something. I would take a gamble on something. I did not expect all this.
Yeah. No, funnily enough, obviously we're going to get into that. I'd actually had him as one of my wild cards, right? Yeah. So because I knew that he had a really good form in Portugal, and he's been doing that for the past couple of seasons. I mean, he had that. Remember a few seasons back, he went to Hibs.
Yeah, he didn't really.
But
do
he
much
was injured though,
yeah.
I think a lot, and he didn't really get.
He was only half a season as well.
But I mean, hopefully some of the guys viewing might be Hibs fans. They might be able to inform us a bit better what they thought. Hibs. We know what that means, right? But
David Gray.
I mean, I think he was injured, wasn't he? I think he had a bit of an injury spell when he went on loan to Hibs. I think he only played maybe.
He didn't play a lot.
No, he didn't, did he? Maybe 2-3 games or something.
Need to double check that. But again, the fact that we can't remember his spell at Hibs.
That says it all, doesn't it?
But to go back to Portugal then and get out, maybe.
He's
probably the best thing he did was get out of Lisbon.
And the thing is with him as well, I think everyone knew he was a technical player, wasn't he? He was a technical player, so getting that bit more time in Portugal probably suits his play, you know?
Rather than getting all the talent cut in Scotland.
Exactly. So it's like, fair play to the guy.
What's it like though when you play football in Scotland? So Simon obviously knows as he plays football with us.
Yeah.
As soon as we play a team, maybe for like the second time in the season, you go, I remember him last time. He like tore us inside out.
Yeah, let's tackle him.
Let's kick him.
Right.
Let's kick him early.
You identify them, don't you? And
that's what happens.
Yeah.
Like, arguably, why guys like, and you know how much I love a guy like Tierney. He just got kicked up and down the park all the time when he was a youngster.
Yeah.
That's maybe why he's got so many injury problems these days.
Yeah.
So maybe he, maybe the fact that he left Scotland so early in the long run will be good for them because he's now got all those bruises and stuff.
And he gets that bit more time in the Premier League. You see, exactly. All these things factor into it. But I mean, on the basis of his form in Portugal, I think you're right to include him.
Get him on the plane.
I think so, mate.
Even though we're playing 2 games at home, get him on the plane.
Yeah, I agree.
Get him on the train.
Get on the train.
Gold at Wembley, threading through balls for him.
Declan Rice.
To the strikers. Threading through balls to the strikers that we're going to talk about now.
Rice and knots. Yes.
Right, I've got 3 striker slots.
3? Only 3?
3, because we only play one up front.
Unless you're Craig Levein.
We said it when we were off camera. If he just said that Jamie Mackie was a striker,
you'd have got away with it.
He might still be the Scotland manager. Who knows? Who knows?
He was up front, he just didn't know.
Thank God. But yeah,
Scotland only play 1 striker, so that's why I've maybe picked more midfielders.
Who have you got then?
My 3 strikers are Lyndon Dykes,
Yeah.
Kevin Nisbet,
Okay.
How we're reading that. I've got a few looks. I'm getting a few.
Three
Yes.
striker slots.
Hold on, the third one's got to be fantastic to make sense here.
Che Adams.
Nah, you're wrong.
Holy crap.
That's my 3.
Why is Lee Griffiths?
And I'll tell you for why.
Simon.
Your time will come. You will be.
This is what all of you guys are saying at home. No Lee Griffiths.
You're only providing us the venue, helping us with the tech, and like giving us some rum and all. You're only doing all that.
Ah, but you're wrong.
You're not on yet.
Simon, you sit here.
We've already spoken length about Dykes, about how much he brings to the team and how well he was in that crunch game against Serbia, right? And in the games before that in the Nations League as well, he chipped in with a couple of goals. He helped justify the way that Clark wants to play.
Yeah.
This like big man up top and just loads of
Absolutely, yeah. To support him, yeah.
So he justifies that formation. He's first choice. Despite
Dykes.
the fact, for me, despite Dykes' first choice.
Yeah, of course.
There's no question of him being in the squad. Kevin Nisbet.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Fantastic season for Hibs so far. He's done
well. He's done well. Absolutely.
Hibs haven't been great. They've been all right. But Nisbet's been scoring goals. And he's a different kind of player to the other guy, Adams. Adams is more of that like a hybrid sort of in between the two. Nisbet's like more of like he's not like a target man like Dykes. He'll maybe be a guy bit of a poacher, get the ball in the box, he'll finish it off.
I think he's a good player, Dan, right? Nisbet. Right, he is a good player. But I mean, everything that happened in January there. Is he going to move? Is he not going to move? Then,
well, good thing for him is that he can't transfer from Scotland.
No, but
because he wants to move.
But listen.
Rafe Rovers, Dunfermline, Hibs, anyone else like love me.
But Birmingham, that was the rumour, wasn't it, for him to go to Birmingham, and they're struggling in the Championship big time anyway.
You know who else played for Birmingham? Che Adams.
He did.
You know who else plays for Birmingham? Sam Cosgrove.
Oh, what a band.
But anyway, enough about that. But Nisbet, after that transfer link, he was out of the squad. So he hasn't been playing for he wasn't playing for a long time because the Hibs were going with Deutsch and who was it? Boyle. They were playing them two as the strikers.
Even though Boyle's more of a winger.
But because obviously Boyle gives that threat running in behind, right? So Nisbet wasn't getting a say-in, so I think he must have had a fallout or something with Jack Ross, he must have. So he hasn't been playing there for a good few weeks. It was only maybe last weekend there, and this weekend he's came back in, he scored the other day. I agree with you, he's a finisher, he knows where the goal is, but this is, like Simon said, Griffiths.
Now, and is it a bit weird that as the Celtic fan?
Well, yeah, exactly. Just to double check here that everyone knows at home here, he is a Celtic man. He is a Celtic fan.
I'm just going to justify though. The main reason I want Griffiths is because he'll forever be a legend.
Oh yeah.
He scored 2 free kicks against England. That's that. He should be indefinitely in the squad. It's like the Masters. If you win the Masters, you get to play every Masters.
Obligatory mention as to why Stuart Armstrong made the wrong pass in that game that led to Harry Kane scoring.
Yes, and also why no one.
Actually, why are we picking Stuart Armstrong after that?
That is it. Start again.
I know what the hell.
Oh, it's magnificent. The mop.
The mop on Stuart Armstrong.
I did find it strange that the Celtic fan in the room did not pick Lee Griffiths.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah. But it also shows that he obviously cares enough about Scotland and puts his pride aside.
Or maybe he doesn't.
He doesn't want us to win.
We're going to lose anyway. I'm not going to win this.
I actually want Poland to win.
I would be happy to finish second.
Postcard by Germany. Anyway,
but I think that's
Nisbet's the one that I could. The Nisbet's the one that I could shake up. I think he's been putting the ball in the back of the net.
Nah, you've sold me on Nisbet. To be honest with you.
And Griffiths,
he sold you on this.
As much as I love Griffiths, and he's been a fantastic player for Celtic for years. He's great. He's been great everywhere he's been. Maybe apart from Wolves, because he's never got a chance at Wolves.
You know what?
Griffiths has he's not played enough football for me. And I know you said Nisbet's been out of the team.
That's where I keep going back to, right? Because I know with Griffiths, he's had his problems and that, but he's one of these guys.
To make it clear, I love you, Lee Griffiths. I love you so much,
and I love you,
but But
for me, Griffiths is in that squad. He's got to be. He's got to be in the squad.
I won't fight you on it. If we want Griffiths in the team, then
for me, he's in. He's ahead in Nisbet. He is ahead in Nisbet.
What do we think about Adams?
He's in.
I think he's in as well. Now, you weren't so sure, Simon, were you, when we were talking off camera about it? Because you were saying he's not been in the squad to get us there, so why should he get a call? But do we...
But then, on the same logic, Lee Griffiths has been in the squad and he also isn't in it. I'm not that bothered by that.
I think we need to avoid getting too hung up on stuff like that, because Adams has been scoring goals for the whole season at Southampton.
You've got to look at the point of view that...
He scored a goal at the weekend that it didn't get counted, but again, the way that he got the ball turned, like smart in the bottom corner, like, one thing we don't do enough of is score goals. If we win, it's like 1-0, or maybe like 2-1.
Scraping it, But that's what I was going to say, right? What you've got to look at is he going to improve our squad? Yes. Get him in. I mean... I'm a bit hesitant about the fact that, I mean, obviously we asked him to be in the Scotland squad back in 2019 and he kind of like threw us back, but now we've qualified for the Euros, he's got that chance to come into the World Cup squad and he's grabbed it with both hands, because obviously that's going to be his chance to shine, get that big move, you know, hopefully if he... But wait, let me finish, it's a win-win for us as well.
Exactly.
See if he's like James Rodriguez or whatever, right?
If he
scores goals,
great,
provides assists,
and if he comes in, if he comes in and doesn't perform, just don't play him again.
Exactly. So it's a no-brainer. I think it's a risk-free.
And like I said, this is based off maybe Adams doing well in the World Cup games.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of like a Jack Henry scenario, isn't it?
But apart from Henry, I could argue that his club form at the highest level in the Premier League on its own could justify him being one of our three strikers. Like I said, doesn't necessarily have to start, because I think despite the fact that Dykes maybe hasn't been scoring as many goals as he should be doing at club level, he's been providing at international level. So the onus is on Adams to go and do things for Scotland in these World Cup games.
I agree, mate. I think most people watching would say, is Adams going to improve our squad?
I think he will.
He is. I mean, when you look at like the previous squads, we've got McBurney there, Shankland.
Shankland's the one we'll have to talk about. Would you have picked him either?
I wouldn't have picked him.
Last season, I think if this tournament was happening in 2020, I think you take Lord Shankland. But because it's happening in 2021, I don't think you do.
But again, it's a championship striker. He's scoring goals, right? But this is a different kettle of fish.
I don't think he would have been taken even last year as a starter. He would have been taken as maybe that Nisbet kind of. The reason I put Nisbet in, maybe he's that guy you can bring off the bench. Maybe Griffiths, because he's not played every week. He's that guy, right, we're needing a goal, chuck him on. You could maybe have said the same thing about Shankland if this tournament was happening this time last year.
He's got to prove himself.
Because he was scoring the goals for fun at Dundee United.
He was.
And of course,
that's a championship.
But that's maybe the thing. This is the thing that's maybe hurt him for the Scotland chances. He's come up to the Premier League, and fair enough, he was injured at the start of the season, but even when he's been fit, he's not been banging them in as maybe you'd expect him to. So maybe that's why you don't take him. But again, how old? He's still quite young, isn't he? How old is he?
20. He's about our age, isn't he? 25 maybe? 25-ish?
I know, I was 25. Says he's 27, that's only 2 years back.
26, you're not, I'm only 26. You're only
I'm 25, but I think he's my age. I think he's 25. He is 25.
He's got plenty of time.
But my point is, right,
I don't think he's done enough this season to get in the squad.
No. He, as Simon said there, I think he needs time. But the only thing I would say about Shankland is, right, see, I think the ideal thing for him would be to get a move to Rangers or Celtic. Because I think that'll take his game to the next level when he's playing with like better players. He's getting that service. It'll allow him to become accustomed to it, because I think when he's getting called up to that Scotland squad, he's getting a different level of service and training and whatnot, and he's having to like go from here to maybe there, you know what I mean, in the squad. I think if he's doing that week in, week out, and maybe like a bigger club, I think, I mean, he would obviously, I think probably if he was at Celtic, Rangers, or maybe down south, he would get that call up.
So it's a wait and see.
Because again, you could arguably say that about Dykes. Would he have got that chance if he didn't move from Livy?
he got that move because he was doing so well for Livingston.
But that's what I'm saying.
In that league.
But that's
he proved that he could do it in the SPL.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Would he have got that chance if he didn't get that move down south?
True.
That is one of these things, you know. If he doesn't get that move to a big club, you know, because although
did he get any caps when he was still at Livingston?
He didn't. No, because he wasn't sure if he was Australian or Scottish.
Had he just moved to QPR when he got his first cap?
Yeah.
All right enough, because
he decided
was his
whether
first
he
cap
wanted
this
to be.
season.
Yeah, because he decided if he wanted to be Australian or Scottish, and
I couldn't remember if that was the end of last season or the start of this season. So it was the start of this season.
This season.
What is time? Yeah, coronavirus.
Well, that's it. It's all together now, is it?
All together now. You tell I've had a couple of them.
Yeah, sorry, it's a banger though.
It's too like the original version. That
is. but it's one of those, you know. If Shanklin gets a move to a bigger club, I think more likely he's going to get. He's going to be in those squads, you know.
Okay, I get that. Or he starts banging the Midfield United in the SPL. I think one of those two things has to happen. Because if he'd scored, obviously 15,
if he was like one of the top goal scorers in the league,
like Kevin Nisbet's got, I don't know how many goals exactly he's got, but
Hibs fans might help us on that.
Come on, Kenzie. I think if Shanklin had got 15-20 goals for United this season, he'd be in my team. But he's not.
Shanklin, yeah.
Yeah, Shanklin, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not convinced by him totally yet.
But there's time for him.
That's it. I mean, but we're going on the basis of now.
You need to go on there.
And
that's why I have Adams. Adams says
Shanklin's it's too early for him.
Adam says he wants to play for us now. He's been doing well for Saints in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I think that's a no-brainer.
I agree with you on two of them.
Yeah.
Nisbet, no.
Okay. So that's a squad debate. Let's move on to
our starting
11s.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I did ask you to do your 23-man squad, but it doesn't matter. Between us, we've done our 23-man squad. So, to recap, between us, we've got Marshall, Alan McGregor, Craig Gordon, Stephen O'Donnell, Sean Rooney.
Yeah.
Not Adam or Wayne. O'Donnell, Rooney, Scott McKenna, Declan Gallagher, Kieran Tierney, Andy Robertson, Scott McTominay and Andy Considine, Ryan Jack, Callum McGregor, John McGinn, Stuart Armstrong, Ryan Christie, James Forrest, Ryan Fraser, David Turnbull, Ryan Gould. We've got Kevin Nisbet, stroke Lee Griffiths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Lee Griffiths, yeah.
Number one choice.
Che Adams and Lyndon Dykes. That's for 23. That's who's on the plane, stroke train, stroke megabus down to Wembley.
That's it. It's coming home. So aye.
I spoke a lot there about because I picked the bulk of the team, right? Or at least I went away and did that in the time. So I'll give you the floor to lay out your starting 11 and I will chip in and criticise when need be.
That's very kind of you, Dan. So I think what we'll start off with is the formation first and foremost.
Yes.
Now we know, as we've said earlier on, we're definitely going to be playing a 5 at the back, right?
It works.
It works. It works perfectly for us. It works perfectly. Now what I'm going to suggest is a 5-3-2.
Oh!
I'm suggesting a 5-3-2.
Oh!
Everyone is falling. Oh. Simon is away.
The camera is shaking.
Not everyone is falling. We have the minimum required people here. It is just us and Simon.
It's not an earthquake.
Hashtag guidelines.
I think a 5-3-2, as I've said before, and I can't emphasise it enough, we are not going to win the Euros. We are not going to win the Euros. But we are going to give it our best.
We're not going to embarrass ourselves.
We are going to give it our best. We are Scotland the Brave. Yes.
So you're saying if we're going out, we might as well attack?
Yes. Quite right. It's the best form of defence, though.
Go on swinging. Yeah.
I can now see why you were like questioning me putting in guys like Forrest and Fraser there.
Yes.
Because you're not playing wingers. You're only playing wing backs.
Yes.
Okay.
So I am going for the 5-3-2. Now, starting off in goals, Davy Marshall. Davy Marshall. Davy Marshall, he got us there. He got us there.
He can boot.
he can certainly boogie. Is it okay, boogie? Yes, it is.
That's the only reason we picked Considine as well.
If it wasn't for Andy Considine, yeah, actually, I totally forgot to mention that. That is why he's in the squad. He gave us that.
Oh yes, I can boogie.
How is it taking us that long to sing
I
that
don't
song?
know.
Who needs RuPaul's Drag Race when you've got Andy Considine?
How did
What a guy, man! What a guy!
There's somebody from Dundee, isn't that, isn't there?
Yeah, LA Diamonds.
How'd they go
was in
on?
the final.
Is it happened yet?
It finished the other night, Thursday, I want to say. It was won by a Glasgow Queen.
Oh, well, Scottish. at least.
As long as it's coming home, eh?
It's coming home. Drag's coming home.
Just like the Euros.
I saw dressed up as Dennis the Menace. I thought that was quite good. Repping Dundee. Anyway,
Back to the football.
who knew that RuPaul's Drag Race would come up on this podcast?
When we said we'd speak about anything, we do mean anything.
Anything. This can go anywhere. Especially after a couple of glasses of Captain's Cabin rum.
Oh, it's delightful, by the way. Getting on it.
It's going down well.
Oh yes. So. Too well, yeah.
On the Yes I Can Boogie thing, I purchased one of the amazing Yes I Can Boogie t-shirts from the Tartan House. They've got some nice. And kind of the cheapy like. You see them everywhere in like Edinburgh, so like the souvenir shop.
Aye, yeah.
So there's one in Overgate.
Yeah, I know.
And they had like it was like Scotland, we are back. And the Yes I Can Boogie, and I'm like, I'm a sucker for a crap t-shirt for a £5, so I bought it. And it was great. And then I
It's
stuck.
definitely just made at least keys as well.
And so I bought it in my extra large size, and then I accidentally put it in the tumble dryer, and it came out a medium, so I can't wear it anymore.
You got something to work towards.
To be fair, you might fall heir to it when we go down to London.
Maybe.
Aye, so absolutely, Marshall starts and goal.
He is starting, without question. I mean, I know we were speaking about how blessed we are with goalkeepers, but
Al McGregor loves blessings.
For everything he's done for us to get us there,
yes,
he is the starting. He is the starting goalkeeper, without doubt. Now, as I was
on David Marshall, did you know that if it wasn't for Rob Douglas and Thiago Motta getting in a fight in like 2004, we might not have made the Euros?
why is that getting his chance?
So it was in the UEFA Cup match. Celtic played Barcelona.
Was that not his debut?
Yeah. So it was either end of 2003 or the start of 2004. I think it was the start of 2004. We were playing Barcelona. Celtic with Barcelona at Parkhead. This is like when Ronaldinho was like the best player in the world. Somehow Barcelona were in the UEFA Cup. Christ knows how that happened.
Right.
But we were playing Barcelona, expecting to get smashed. The whole first half, all Barcelona pressure. Ronaldinho missing sitters, Javier Saviola missing sitters. Halfway through the first half, there was an incident where Thiago Motta and Bobo Balde went up for a header, and Motta like punched Balde in the face, but the ref didn't notice it. So the rest of the half, like Balde and Motta having verbals, blah blah blah. And at half time, as the story goes, I'm sure Balde and Motta have a scuffle in the tunnel.
We mess with Balde though.
Right? Who breaks up the fight? Who breaks up the fight? Rob Douglas.
Aye. Oh, fuck, I was saying.
So Big Rob and Big Bobo are like fucking
Dundee man.
going in on Thiago
yes.
Motta. But the ref only sees Rob like pulling Motta
Dragging
off
him,
ball.
right.
So, and he goes into the dressing room and says, number 20, Celtic sent off.
Wow.
And Martin O'Neill apparently was like, Baldy's not number 20, and then realised, oh wait, that's Rob.
Rob.
So Rob's off. Rob got sent off. Who was on the bench? David Marshall. Came on, kept a clean sheet, went to the new camp, kept a clean sheet. Here we are! So, Thiago Motta, thank you.
Not to take anything away from the man, the legend, that is Rob Douglas.
Yeah.
Hero.
Yeah.
Absolute hero.
Absolute hero.
I love him.
His daughter's a regular here.
Is he? Oh, there you go.
Down at captain's camp.
You made all this possible, Rob, by having a fight with Thiago Motta.
I love you.
But yeah, so Marshall's in.
So Marshall, yeah, I mean, if Rob was still kicking about, I'll take him on the plane as well. But anyway,
Fourth legend.
I'm going to start. Come on now. Very controversial, right? So as we've discussed, we were talking about the right back slot. Now, I'm going to start with Sean Rooney.
Wow.
I'm starting with Sean Rooney at right wing back.
Man with no caps.
Man with no caps, and he's got
You're throwing him right in.
I'm throwing him in at the deep end. Now, he got through. No, but listen, right? He got through in at the deep end, going into the SPL. And what's happened? He's thrived. He is thrived. I think he is. Honestly, he left Inverness on a free because he was getting linked with Dundee. But then, obviously, St Johnstone Premier League, they were like,
why would you sign Rooney when you've got Cammy Kerr?
Well, that's very true.
Exactly.
Cammy Kerr.
Baller.
Cammy Kerr. Baller. But anyway, Sean Rooney, I think he has proved himself to be worthy to start. Honestly, I'm disappointed that he didn't get called up to the World Cup qualifiers because, again, it would have been that trial run like with Hendry, right? Because it gives him that kind of platform to get used. Because let's face it, we are not expecting to qualify for the World Cup as well. We aren't. I mean, the group is doable, but are we really? I don't know if we're expecting
all of our previous groups have also seemed doable, and we haven't done it.
But that's what I'm saying. Are we really expecting?
And that's why we don't play Grant Hanley.
Yeah,
but that's why we should start Sean Rooney.
Yeah. I really hope Grant isn't watching this.
I like
Harry, I'm really sorry, Harry. But, I think Sean Rooney, throw him in there. Throw him in.
I didn't know you were such a big.
I'm a Rooney fan.
Rooney fan.
Rooney.
There we go. Well, I've got McDonald in mind, but you know what?
O'Donnell, yeah.
Did I say Donald?
McDonald.
Is that what you're fancy for tea?
I don't even like McDonald's.
How much of that have you had?
I don't even like McDonald's. Not enough.
How much is left?
Not enough. Second bottle.
Sorry to crack that open. No, but I know what you're saying as well, because O'Donnell, he's played throughout the Euros.
He's been a good player for Kamala for years.
I've just got a feeling for Sean Rooney. I genuinely think he's going to add something big to our team, because honestly he's got so much energy. Every time I've watched him, he's bombing up and down. He wins everything in the air, and that would be amazing for us, right? Because we have got a lot of technically good midfielders that could whip in a good delivery, right? We do. Yeah. And I think having him in the box, we will get goals from him. Yeah. I think he starts. Okay. He starts ahead of O'Donnell.
Okay, in response to that, the one thing that I would say, maybe the main reason that you picked O'Donnell is basically because, and you might disagree, I would have Gallagher as the centre half. The centre half
in that for the same team.
And they've got that chemistry from playing with the same teams. They play week in, week out. Also, who would have thought 5 or 6 years ago, you say, right, we're going to qualify for the tournament soon. And we're going to, and the chance, I mean, you're obviously throwing this out as a wild card pick if you want to call it Rooney. The chances are O'Donnell and Gallagher probably will start. Yeah. Imagine saying like 5 or 6 years ago, Motherwell's like half of the defence that play for Motherwell week in, week out will start for Scotland.
It's pretty mad, isn't it?
If you'd have told me 5 or 6 years ago that 5 players that play in the Scotland team are not in Celtic or Rangers, I'd be like, you're
good one. Yeah.
Good one. Next joke.
Yeah. But
or Championship football. Like
so maybe we're always a bit harsh on ourselves in Scotland in terms of.
So Dan, I get that, but the way that I've got this formation set up, they won't be playing right alongside one another.
Neither in mine as well, but they'll still be playing near enough each other.
They have, yeah. So anyway, we'll move on, right? So
you've got your right back.
I would start Sean Rooney.
Who are your 3 centre halves?
My 3 centre halves alongside Sean Rooney will be McTominay.
Agreed. Right-sided centre half.
Now I think Steve Clarke is a genius, an absolute genius. For putting McTominay in his centre back role has been perfect for Scotland.
Throwing it out there, Scott McTominay is the Lee Hager of this team. Those of you watching who know how Lee Hager plays football will know exactly what I'm talking about. He is that, he will pick up the ball at centre half and think, I don't want to be a centre half, I'm just going to go on a mazy and just like dribble into midfield and try and do it all myself. McTominay he's that kind of ball player that he's got calm under pressure. He plays in holding midfield for Manchester United anyway.
Very well.
So he knows that he's been
no standout. He's been Man U's standout, by the way.
As you know, I'm a big True Geordie fan. Partly why I've wanted to do a podcast, I'm a big fan of him. One of the regular guests he's got on his football watch-along show, The Kickoff, which is on right now, and I'm missing it to record this podcast, so, I'll watch it when I go home. Anyway, one of the regulars that he's got on is a guy called Adam McCullough. He is on the Stretford Paddock, which is like one of the biggest Manchester United fan channels on YouTube. One of the things that he's been saying that Man United fans have been frustrated with this year is because Pogba's been injured so much, they've been playing McTominay and Fred together, and they're almost like two defensives together.
Right.
And if you had Pogba, McTominay, or Pogba, Fred, and Fernandes, that would be the ideal midfield. But obviously, McTominay and Fred are two defensive, so two defensive players. So McTominay is that guy that's going to be sitting back anyway in midfield. In a 4-2-3-1, the perfect balance, which is what probably we'll talk on in a different podcast, is why we've got this name.
Yeah.
But anyway, so because he's sitting deep in that formation for Manchester United anyway, it's not a massive break in the way he plays for Manchester United to slot in there for Scotland, and because he does that, he can come out into midfield.
Exactly.
So essentially, when Scotland, bear in mind you're wanting to play slightly different formation from me, whether or not you're playing 5-4-1 or 5-3-2, McTominay can be that guy who, when he has the ball, brings it into midfield, and when we're on the attack, gives you that extra body.
Yeah. Definitely, he slots into it, and then we go to a 4.
So almost when Scotland have the ball, we're playing a different way compared to when we don't have the ball.
So we've got that extra midfielder.
And he's now had enough experience playing in that position for Scotland that I am totally fine with him playing there.
But then that suits us as well, you know what I mean? Because as we've said,
we're not blessed with centre halves.
No, but we're blessed with midfielders. And as you say, McTominay could come out from centre back. We've got that space and time. And I've seen that in the past few games with Scotland. They tend to let us have the ball as well when we're in possession. Teams will sit in kind of, and McTominay is normally the one that has the time and space to come forward with it. And the thing I like about McTominay is he always looks to go forward when he has the ball, because he's not, you see it too many times nowadays, we'll go side, back, all the way back to keeper, whereas McTominay always looks between the lines and tries to feed into Dykes, and I like that. Because we need to do that. Because as soon as we hit Dykes, that's when we could push.
Yeah. And McTominay can push with the midfielders as well.
When we go wide, then there's only that one runner that will go and spin, because Dykes is the one that you want to hit.
Yeah, he's
the target man, right? But for the midfielders, it's a hard one for the midfielders to always keep on bombing, and I think that's what McGinn's been doing really well. Now, sorry, that's a spoiler who's going to be in the midfield, but I think that's one thing that McGinn does really well for Scotland. That's not really what he does for Villa, but for Scotland he's outstanding in how he likes to get forward, and he tries to get in behind. I notice a lot for Scotland, he tries to just keep bombing in behind there to support Dykes. Yeah, and I love that from McGinn. I think he is really a good player. He is.
Yes.
And again, sorry to go back, but Celtic missed out on a trick getting him when he was at Hibs. He's the one that got away. But anyway, so
again, that's for another podcast.
Yeah. So we spoke about, you know, the first centre back, right? So obviously I'm playing the back five. In the middle is the man, the warrior.
Big Deck
Gallagher, right? What? Just a monster, is he? He's a monster.
Eats headers.
And
he's like Shav.
Oh, man. Yeah, big Shav. I love that. And congratulations with the baby.
That's me, Shav.
Yeah. Declan Gallagher. Where can I start with the boy? I mean, he was at Clyde, the Billy Way, of course. Then he came to us. He was at Dundee, you know that, yeah? So I still think he was a good player. I remember when he was at Dundee.
I have a memory of him having a big battle with Gary Hooper back in the day at Dens. That was it, wasn't it?
I thought he was a good player at Dundee. Honestly, he was. And I don't know what happened. I think there was a lot of stuff going off the pitch, right? I won't get into that. But anyway, I'm on about what he does on the pitch, and I think he's a warrior. He's a warrior. Wins everything in the air, as I say. He eats headers. Yep. But I think he can play a bit.
He's what you need in the middle of that back three.
I think he can play a bit as well.
We were talking earlier on about Mckenna. Probably, I think Mckenna is the perfect second to that. But I would have Gallagher in it.
Gallagher start. I mean, from what we've seen, you know, that build up for the qualification for the Euros, I think he was outstanding.
And we know Motherwell haven't actually been that good this season. But I want about Gallagher and O'Donnell have done it for Scotland.
He's getting, I mean, in the gossip column again today, he was getting linked with numerous teams. Like, I think another one was Celtic.
He was getting linked with Celtic in January.
Yeah. United are after him, actually.
He'd be a great signing for Dundee.
Aberdeen are after him.
He'd be a great signing for anyone in the SPL, Dylan Gallagher.
I think that's a no-brainer.
He probably improves anyone.
He does. He's brilliant. I think he's a very good player. Anyway, he starts there, right? To the left hand side of the centre back area, Tierney.
Yes.
We've discussed that, right? The left hand side takes care of itself.
Tierney Robertson.
Exactly. It's Tierney Robertson. We won't be around.
Like we said, Tierney
that back at home.
Tierney was playing in that system for Arsenal as well. He's got all that experience playing there.
It's an opening.
The question for years was, do we maybe play Tierney at left back and do we play Robertson at left wing?
Yeah.
I think we tried it once and it just didn't work. I'm sure we had one Scotland game with that happened and it just didn't click at all. But we found a system that fits that together. And it's not only helped Tierney and Robertson play in the same team, it's got the most out of somebody who we'll talk about later up front, and you know we're going to pick him up front.
But definitely, I mean, I don't think we should spend too long on Tierney Robertson because everyone knows back home.
So far we're going Marshall, O'Donnell or Rooney, McTominay, Gallagher, Tierney and Robertson.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to have is obviously 5-3-2, so I'm going to have one set.
See, this is where we differ. I would only have two in the middle.
But I'm going to have one.
Go for your first.
Okay, so sorry, I'm going to have one sitting. Now, it was a toss-up between McGregor and Jack for me, but I'm going to go for McGregor. I think he's a brilliant player.
Baller.
McGregor, baller. He can do both.
He do anything.
He'll do anything, yes. He'll go attack, sit.
He used to get right winger.
I know, but I would have him sitting.
Oh yeah, of course.
He sits there for me. He gets the ball. He makes things happen, right? Because I think, as we've discussed, I was going to get on to that anyway. With McTominay obviously playing part of the five, when he gets the ball, he then slots into the two with McGregor anyway. So then we've got that four sitting. It's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect, right? So
the perfect balance.
Then. So essentially, yeah, it is. But I think that's just perfect. McGregor again, he's a positive player. He always wants to look
McGregor
forward
can do
for a
anything.
pass.
He can do anything. Whatever you need him to do, he will do it.
I think he's a banker to start.
Absolutely.
He's got to start.
Couldn't agree more.
Then anyway, so we can move on from that.
So you've got your McGregor sitting front of the back five, and your two presumably
and then
attacking
I've got
midfielders.
The two going forward, right? On the basis of, I mean, Southampton's form's dropped, as we know recently.
Yeah.
They've not really been. I mean, at the start of the season, they were on fire.
Top of the league at one point.
Aye, they were on fire.
Yeah, top of the league.
And but they've dropped, which we expected anyway, because obviously you're kind of expected big four. Are
and
as
is traditional.
Not really.
Big six though, isn't it?
Aye, well,
as
big 10.
And they dropped, and as is traditional for Southampton now, they lose 9-0 and then they get better. That's 3 years in a row.
It's a hardware level lesson, but that's the way to do it. So anyway, so I think from that you can guess who's going to be in my starting midfield, and it's a bit controversial, but I'm going to start with Armstrong. Armstrong's been a standout for Southampton. He has. Every time I watch Southampton, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He does it. He's quite similar in the respect that he does everything in the midfield that you want. He always wants the ball. He wants to make something happen. He'll drive with the ball. You know what I mean? That's what you want. Someone with that bit of energy, spark that's want to make things happen. And to play at that level, and he's doing it consistently, and he gets goals, he makes assists, he starts.
Well, this is it. He won everything in Scotland, and he's gone down to England, and he's continued to
exactly. And he's done that obviously when he was at United. He went to Celtic, he was brilliant there, and then he got his move to Southampton. He's doing the same, and I think he starts. I know that a lot of people probably think, what about Christie, right? But Christie, he's been brilliant for Scotland. He has, right? But I'm going on the basis that with Celtic right now.
Ever since the Scottish Cup final, you couldn't hit a barn door with a machine gun.
And that's from a Celtic fan, right?
It was the Lennon's last game. There was summed up Christie's second half of the season. Edward got in the inside left, cut it back, open goal for Christie. He put it out the stand. He literally put it out of the stadium.
No, I remember.
Open goal.
I remember. I've seen it.
He's just not been in form.
I don't
does
know why.
Does he make the squad?
No.
Absolutely. But
he makes the squad, but he doesn't start.
Me and you are playing in different systems. I still don't start Christie in mine either. Just because he's been out of form.
So like I'm going on the basis of, like I say, it's the now. It isn't what's happened previous. I'm doing it now, right? Armstrong starts, right?
Okay.
Then as I've said before, although Villa haven't been great,
No.
they've not been great.
Well, they've been better than they
they're
were
up
last
and
year.
down.
They've
They're
been
up
better
and
than they were
down.
last year.
But yeah, well, they just survived, didn't they? But McGinn starts for me. I think every time I watch Scotland, he's basically man of the match. Normally like 7, 8 times out of 10 for me is McGinn. I just think he does so much for Scotland. He does so much that like people don't realise when you're watching Scotland.
This is where we're going to slightly disagree, and arguably maybe because we're playing two slightly different systems.
But now, sorry, just before you go on, right?
Yeah, so finish what you're saying about
I've got McGregor sitting in the free, right? I've got Armstrong just ahead
on the right, McGinn on the left,
and then I've got McGinn left, but he's almost supporting the two up top, right? So he's got a free role. He's got that free role in there, right? And I think he's your 10.
He's your 10 basically.
He is perfect for that position. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, you were saying.
So you're playing the 3 in the middle. I'm sticking to what Clark played in Serbia because I think that's what we'll play in the Euros. The 2 that played in midfield that day, well, Callum McGregor and Ryan Jack, and I thought they were outstanding.
They were.
Controlled the game.
They were.
Nothing got past them. We've already talked about Callum McGregor.
We dominated that.
I could talk about forever and a day how amazing Callum McGregor is at football.
Yeah.
I think he could walk into most Premier League teams and improve. I think that's how good he is.
He is a good player.
He's maybe not had as good a season as he had this season, but nobody at Celtic.
Nah, he's a great player.
It doesn't take away from how good a footballer he actually is.
I agree.
Ryan Jack has been outstanding for Rangers this season, and even last season as well. He was very good. He's come from Aberdeen. He's made himself undroppable in that Rangers team. He's become one of the most important players.
But again, you can say
he's not like Steven Gerrard. He's Ryan Jack, is he?
It's really annoying because like Steven Gerrard's a Rangers manager, so I should hate him, but he's one of my favourite players ever. So
and also he's done a very good job.
Yeah, you just have to respect what he's done. But anyway, again, that's for when John comes on.
You see, like Ryan Jack. I mean, that was the hard one for me. It's McGregor or Jack, but McGregor I think offers you that bit more. If you had to pick between them, I would being a Celtic fan as well, that's the natural bias. I do believe McGregor's a better footballer. I think he offers just a bit more.
I think together they're great.
They are.
Because Jack used to be a fullback, he can do that defensive side anyway. McGregor can muck in and do the dirty stuff as well, because he's basically the heir to Scott Brown.
Yeah.
And he's dropped back a bit further, especially in the last year when Brown's played less football.
Yeah.
But McGregor, together, I think it's a really good partnership.
I agree, mate. I do. But
like you were saying,
I'm trying to be more positive.
If we're being positive in different areas, because we'll come back to that next.
Yeah, I know.
So I can totally see where you're coming from, but you can probably see where I'm coming from as well.
So you're only obviously going for the 2 in midfield.
I've got the same back 5 as you, but again with that toss-up between O'Donnell and Rooney, I would agree that say for argument's sake, Marshall and goal, O'Donnell, McTominay, Gallagher, Tierney, Robertson. I've got Jack and McGregor sitting as a 2 in midfield.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's how we're doing your midfield.
Yeah.
We're doing my midfield.
So
we'll move on.
I've obviously going on to the 2 up front now, right? I mean, as we've said, like from the start, right? The most important player to the way our system works is Dykes.
London Dykes.
Dykes starts. I know that you've been saying before QPR.
He starts up front for me as well. He's my sole striker. I can give that away.
Dykes, he's so important to the way that we play. So important. Like I say, he's a pivotal figure.
He's a focal point, target man.
He's the target man. We hit. Allows our midfielders to push and support, right? That's the way that we get goals. We need someone that we can hit, and he links up the play.
So like that goal in Serbia doesn't happen unless Dykes draws people away and creates space for like Christie to get that.
And he's tireless because the thing I like about Dykes is it isn't like he just stands there. Like he's prepared to go to the wings as well, like almost that Kenny Miller role. Like he'll run down the wings, but like
why haven't we mentioned Kenny Miller for the Scottish squad?
No, we haven't. But what are you up to, Kenny? But Dykes,
come on.
Yeah,
just throw it out there
if you want.
One day.
Anytime.
One day.
Just give us a bell.
Dundee legend.
But Dykes, he starts for me.
So who's up front now in your team?
Now, this is as Simon says here, very controversial, right? So, if I have a prime Griffiths.
Oh,
He starts.
Prime icon moments,
He
Griffith.
starts. He starts for me.
Griff up front with him.
Now, on the basis of just now and how it goes in the World Cup qualifiers, if Shea Adams is balling,
Yeah.
he starts with Dykes. He starts with him.
You're picking a guy who's not been in the Celtic team the whole season.
But mate, as Simon said earlier, you can't forget what he produced. Like, just about nothing.
But there's also the argument that, again,
But it's about nothing,
to play devil's advocate about Griffiths, he's done it his whole career at Celtic and Hibs and Dundee, Livingston, wherever he's been, he scored goals. Apart from that England game,
So why don't
he's
you
not
pick
really
them?
he's not really done it at the international level. That's why.
But the
he
thing
he
is-
scored those 2 free kicks against England.
But the
That's
thing
about
is,
it.
so mate, right? A lot of the time,
Not to take away with that, 'cause that's
but
mental.
a lot of the time when he's been playing for Scotland, right? He's been playing as that lone man up front.
Aye.
That's not Griffiths.
No.
That's not Griffiths. He needs a partner, and I think with Dykes, he is the target man.
Big man, little man.
Then you've got the midfielders feeding off him, and then that's when Griffiths will get slipped in, and he'll score.
Flick-ons.
If he gets a chance, he'll score.
He will.
Griffiths will score.
Yeah.
I guarantee him to hit the target, and he'll 9 times out of 10 he'll score.
Well, to
You
answer
see,
that,
like anyone watching this now, right? If you are playing, I don't care if you're a Hibs fan, Aberdeen fan, Rangers fan, Motherwell, the list goes on, right? If you see Griffiths warming up,
you're worried.
you're like, why? You know he's going to score. You just know it. You get that feeling.
That thumb's going to come on and put on the back of the
But you just know he's
No, yeah,
he's the
absolutely.
predator in the box.
I mean, it happened,
he knows where to be. He gets the goals.
It happened in the Scottish Cup final. He'd been out of the team for a while. He comes off the bench and
Yeah.
he saved us and got us to pens, didn't he?
Extra
But
time
that's what I'm saying. He scored.
Yeah.
He was.
Wonder if that put
It
us,
was from a corner, wasn't it? It was the corner, and he flicked
I think
it.
that put us 3-2 up actually.
That was
And then-
Hearts. Yeah.
And then Hearts were like, just cross the ball and
Yeah.
score. And then,
But that's what I'm saying. He knows where to be. He knows, right? I think.
you don't need to talk to me about it.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway,
That-
right?
you're-
But I think it's a toss-up for me between Adams or Griffiths, right?
Yeah.
If Adams, like I say, he sets on fire when he's at the World Cup qualifiers, and I hope that he starts with Dykes. Because I don't think it's fair for Dykes to be dropped on how he's went for Scotland so far, because he is so important to our style of play. Because I don't know how it would look with Shea Adams just being up front by himself.
well, that's why I think that'll happen, because we know what Dykes can do for Scotland. And like I've said, the reason I've picked the one striker is because I think that's what Clark will do. I think Clark will want to have a look at Adams in that role. I don't think he'll play 2 up top. I don't think he'll be brave enough. We're playing Croatia.
So
in the
you'll
last
just
game,
play with the
we're
wingers
playing
then?
England in the middle game. Is it the Czech Republic in the first game? Yes, Czechs. It's the Czechs.
I know Israel's in there for sure.
No, in the Euros I'm on about.
Sorry,
We're
the
talking about
Euros.
Euros.
Yeah, sorry.
So we've got Czechs at home, we've got England away, and we've got Croatia at home. The only game he might play 2 up top against is the Czechs. And I don't think he will, because I think he'll want to keep some continuity about the system.
Aye.
He'll want to keep things the same the whole way through, because there's no way we're playing 2 up top against England and Croatia.
I know.
So I think the reason he's bringing up Adams is to play him up front on his own. I don't think he's going to go with 2 up top.
It's just a pity.
He could maybe do it during the game. I don't think he'll start like that.
Yeah, it's just a pity because I think, like I say, we obviously know we're not going to win the Euros. I just think that we should just go, well, you never know. But I just think, why not go for it? Why not? What have you got to lose? I think go for 2 up top, make a meal of it. Make it, you know what I mean? Make your teams fear you.
As a quick aside,
because I know there's obviously better teams. If you look at England's squad, right, it's ridiculous. They've got so many ballers to choose from, right?
Forget the England game for a minute. I'm an eternal optimist for Scotland, because I do think we're a lot better than we give ourselves credit for a lot of the time, especially now, because we actually do have a good team. I don't see why we can't win our 2 home games and go through.
So remind me, who the Czechs,
and then Croatia.
Yeah.
Why can't we get 6 points from those games? At Hampden.
Croatia's a hard one.
Yeah, of course it is. Every game's hard.
The Czechs,
The England game's a free game.
I think
England should arguably be getting to at least the semi-finals. Because they're very good.
But I think that's what I've said there.
All Scotland England stuff is they are one of the favourites to win this tournament.
We know that. Because I mean,
if we get anything against at Wembley,
did you see the other day?
If we get anything at Wembley, it doesn't matter if we go out.
Did you see that as well? By the way, I don't know if you guys seen it on the news. It was a couple of days ago. I think it was one of the chairmen. I think it was the Southampton chairman, and he said that the England under 21s team would thrash Scotland main team.
They would.
And they would. I agree with him. Because the team that they have, they've got Foden, Greenwood. Honestly, the list goes on. There was just so many good players there, and you're like
all those players can make up their own.
There's Sancho as well in that. You know what I mean? And you're like. I understand what he's saying. I get that, right? But the thing is, those players are called up to the main squad anyway, so it's
also,
you know what I mean? They're good enough to start for the main squad.
Sometimes
so
these games get physical and you need men, and the Scottish team is invariably older than the English team.
But the big dick, that's what I'm saying. You see, I was going to say that. So, you see when you, guys, but you see when you think of it, right? Is we're a nation obviously playing for pride, right? That game is the game for these boys, right? They're like, we're not gonna fucking let them go all over us. You know what I mean? What a bunch of young lads coming up against men.
Exactly.
They'll dominate, as you said. They'll dominate them physically. They will.
Yeah. If we can get near them.
Aye, but I think but isn't they're bad footballers though? Scotland they're not bad footballers. They're good footballers. They are, but. I mean, I know they're playing at a different level, but anyway, I know I'm sidetracking from what I'm getting on at here, but I genuinely think we should go for it. Okay. We should go for it. I think go for 2 up top.
Would you play that way in all 3 games, or would you play that way maybe only?
I would say the first game, go for it.
Against Czech Republic, try and get a win.
If it doesn't
absolutely
work, scrap it.
Absolutely. Yeah. But and then go back to what we're used to. If you want to play the one up top, do it. Right?
Go one up front at Wembley.
But like you say, we've got the fans behind us. We've got that home atmosphere. Fucking, why not? Why not play 2 up top? No, but really,
it's the hope that kills you.
But who have I mean, when you think of Czech Republic back in the day, what you have Milan Baros and that. I mean, who's the outstanding player for Czech Republic now?
Adam Plozek.
Who?
That's Adam Plozek. That's only because I play Football Manager.
But there isn't that player you're like, oh fuck, we better watch for him.
They do. Well, I don't know who plays for the national team, but I do know they've got a lot of decent young players.
But you know what I mean, though, there isn't there's that superstar in the team. For example, with Norway, you've got Haaland, and you're like, right, okay, we might need to watch this. Czech Republic, you're like, Whereas before, back in the day, it'd be like Rosicky, and you know what I mean. You're like, yeah, he's a baller. You know what I mean. You're like, aye, so you're like, right, okay, I understand why he's being more, but why not hit them at home?
So what you're implying is because we're not playing against any A-listers, you're thinking, why are we worried? And that is the point. Like Scotland always worry about bigger teams.
Why not?
Notoriously, it's the bigger teams that we conquer. We
exactly. We rise to the occasion against the big teams.
Game, we didn't win, but that was a team we were expecting to get nowhere near.
Yeah,
and we scored two goals out of nothing.
And we were a couple of minutes away from winning that game.
We were like
he was the start, Armstrong. After missing that pass.
Basically, a horrendous left-back decision from winning that game.
So you're going for it, right? I'm arguably being slightly more conservative with a small C, and playing that same system that Clark was playing in Serbia, and then the qualifiers up to that in the Nations League. As I touched on earlier when we were talking about the World Cup squad, or when we were talking about who had including the 23-man squad, in Serbia we played with two boys out of position. They did a great job that night. They got us up the park.
I was outstanding.
One of them got us a goal. One of them arguably should have scored a goal in the first half. I'm talking about McKenna and Christie.
Yeah. I
don't start either of them because I would rather have boys in the natural position there.
Wow.
Like I said, especially if he's...
McGinn?
No. I would have Jack and McGregor sitting because I thought they were outstanding together. And then I would have James Forrest on the right if he's fit and Ryan Fraser on the left.
Oh, wow.
Scotland's best right winger is James Forrest. Scotland's best left winger is Ryan Fraser.
Wow.
Therefore they play, in my opinion.
Can't fault your logic.
I'll leave that to you guys at home. I'm speechless right now. But anyway, I get where you're coming from, as in like natural. That's their positions, right? But obviously we're playing different systems, so it's up to them.
So say you are playing my system. You obviously don't agree with that. Who do you play there instead? Do you keep McGinn as like a left winger / inside left, and do you keep Christie on the right? Or what do you do?
No, but that's...
I know you're not playing that. I'm saying if you were playing this way, what would you change?
I probably wouldn't. If I'm playing that system, I wouldn't. But the way I'm seeing it in my head, the only thing that I could see is the formation I have, that 5-3-2. And that extra midfielder at the point coming in to join the attack. That's the only way I could see it, because I know that McGinn's that player for Scotland.
Yeah.
He's always one to join. He's always one to get in there.
I can not only justify it by saying, like, obviously Forrest is our best right winger naturally.
Yeah.
Fraser is the best left winger naturally. Forrest he can come inside or he can go outside. He can loop balls in or he can take shots. Fraser, because he's a right footer on the left, will always come inside.
Yeah, Clinton.
Because he will do that, that lets a guy like Andy Robertson bomb on, like he does for Liverpool, the same way that Mane will come inside on the left-hand side for Liverpool. So that complements each other quite well. And the fact that O'Donnell doesn't do that, doesn't bomb forward, arguably makes it more balanced to play like that as well. Because Robertson will bomb on when Fraser comes inside. Fraser almost comes into like a number 10 position, arguably, and Robertson arguably becomes a left winger.
Yeah.
Then you've got like a whole back four shifting over
Yeah.
when we're on the attack. You see what I mean?
Yeah. So you could go down either side. And
So so a lot of people might say, and James Forrest never really done it his whole career. He doesn't really track back, but he's never really had to, because in the last 10 years at Celtic, he's had guys like, for the bulk of the time, it was a Mikael Lustig playing a right back who will not go as forward as maybe other right backs will have done.
Yeah.
So he gives Forrest that licence to go forward more. Doesn't need to track back. And even then, because we're switching over, going into our back four,
they just rotate. Yeah.
you've got McTominay who can cover. You've got Jack, who used to be a right back, who can cover as well. I just think it's
a good balance.
a perfect balance.
Yeah, perfect balance.
That's tactically how I see that playing out as well.
I get you. I like that. I like the look of that team as well, Dan. But I like the look of my team better.
And that's what it's all about.
I just think, as I've said before, now I'll say it again. We're not expecting to win this tournament.
Opinions are like Scotland squad. We've all got one.
Exactly, and that's why that's why I think. But it would be great to obviously hear what you guys think.
Comment down below.
Yeah, please. You know where it is.
Yeah.
Comment down below. Ring that bell.
Yeah, I think we've reached the natural end to this, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah, we've gone through our teams, we've gone through our squads.
We've said what we were going to do, and we've delivered.
I think it's a decent pilot.
Guys, honestly, if you enjoyed that, please like, subscribe.
Turn that notification bell on.
Aye, that bell. Ring that bell.
Tell your friends. Tell your family.
And comment what your team would be for the Euros, because we are interested in hearing this, because I think we've both got two solid squads there, but obviously it'll be more interesting to see what happens from the qualifiers as well. But yeah, let us know, and we'll be back to you soon with new content.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Shut up.